All right, here we go. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Say hi to the new stinger. Say hi to my fucking office. But wait a second. Wait a goddamn second. What the shit is this? Where the fuck is my desk? Hello? Where the fuck did my desk go? What the shit do you mean it's in the wall? Hit the button? Hit the button, hit the button. Ah. Oh, snazzy. Ah, shit, hold on. Son of a bitch. No? This ain't right. Why are you? Uh-oh. How did we get scuff already? It's scuffed already, chat. It's scuffed already. I tried to do a dumb skit, and it's scuffed. This doesn't make any sense. I'm so confused. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway. Tis the live stream without scuff? True. I tried to rearrange some things. Didn't work. Did not work. Now, I know... Wait, hold on. Wait, what does this say? Show feet first. Why? Why is that on my notes? Is that something I'm supposed to do? Was I supposed to start feet first? Do I just need, like what's the deal? Do I just... All right, there we go. Perfect. Are we done? Are we satisfied? Why is today the thing I arrived to? We just started, okay? Censored! Yeah, I did leave some of the alerts up. And I did specifically leave hardtack on. Checking for gum under the table. If I find gum under here, somebody's getting skinned. Anyway. Anywho's it's. How do you like the new setup, chat? How do you like the new shebang? Do you like my guns? You like my guns? They're not from anything in particular. They're just my favorite kind of play style for things. Took all the redeems away. Chat was bad with them. No, they'll be back. They're just off for a little bit today. Ready to commit crime brulee? Crime brulee! Let's go. Good job, boys. I'm proud of you. I'm so goddamn proud of you. Sniper and dual pistols? Hell yeah. Hold on, the music is still really loud in my ears. The level of detail here is supreme. Oh, it gets better. You want to see something neat? I want to see if y'all notice. This is stupid, but it's weirdly one of my favorite things that I was able to set up for this one scene. That's it. It happened. Did you notice? Jacked. Yeah, jacked. Anyway, we don't need the desk right now. We don't need the desk where we're going. So we're gonna slide on back over here. Fantastic. It's also a little cold in here, so let me also go back. So we need the jacket back, baby. We need the jackets back. Did you see it? Your flow's so heavy. What the fuck do you mean flow? You stole my whole fucking flow, bro. What the shit? Oh my goodness. Oh, the coat rack? Hell yeah, the coat rack, baby. Hell yeah. I do have bad news though, guys. I do have some bad news that comes with this background. This is the only new background. This is currently the only new background. I have betrayed you. I have betrayed your trust and let you down. This is currently the only one because the other one is taking so long. It has been taking forever. My artist is a professional artist, so he does have like a lot of shit. He's both in college and a professional. That's not bad news. It's still great news. It's okay. We'll get more in the future. Hi, Kono. Hold on. What you looking at, Kono? What you looking at, bud? God, I love this face. Although there is some faces that this model does make that's hilarious to me. That looks like it looks like a pug. Meh. Extra pouty, extra pouty. Yeah, tongue piercing. Ah. It also gets worse. Hold on. And by worse, of course, I mean like, you know, just kind of. Hi, Cat. How are you doing? Malin, could you mind backing away from the screen? Okay, gotcha. How you doing, champ? How you doing? You hanging in there? You doing good, kids? Are you behaving today? Yeah, the tongue has eyes. It's actually based off of a, yes, boss. Good job, kids. Good job, boys. You're doing good, boys. Joined into tongue. Yeah. It's actually, this is technically the same tongue I had done years ago by, what's her name? Faye Speaker, I think is her name. She's known for having like drawn like Vampire the Masquerade mouths for every single clan. I'm gonna grab the tongue. It's pretty slippery. It's literally sopping wet. Don't look too close. Don't look too close. The one time I enjoyed Twitter, listen, it's fine. Also, hi, Holt. It's good to see you. I saw those. One of them inspired mine. You don't grab tongue, tongue grab you. Also true. But that's also, this model came with so many like better expressions than some of my previous ones. I mean, like, I can do this. When you flatter me, chat, I can do a little blushies. I can do a little blushies. Yes. Also appropriate levels of sweat. Average me gaming sweat levels. I will flatter your face. My face. Why will you flatter my face? Do the little blushies, yes. Do the little blushies. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. A sweaty gamer indeed. Listen, it's fine. It's fine. We have a thunderstorm here right now. It's cold inside the house, so I put on a hoodie, and I guarantee you in 10 minutes, I'm going to be sweaty enough to take it off. Oh my goodness. Unholy combo, blush and tongue. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I regret that. Mocha, what the shit? Jesus Christ, girl. You're gonna be as shiny as your model? Shiny, chrome, and free. Oop. Thank you, Mocha. Holy shit. Thank you for the 10 subs. Also, thank you guys for the hype train earlier. I missed what it came out to be at the giant Kono. I missed the giant Kono. Oh my goodness. Nice glow up. Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is, baby. We went from having, in 1.0, like, the Chibi actually has better rigging than, what was it? Than the main 1.0. But this one has V-Bridger, so it's fucking killer. Baron go Atewa. No, you're the hints in that scenario. Wait, you're the hints? Is that the right word? Cool boots. Hell yeah, cool boots. I mean, here, we'll just do a, we can go stand back here. I'll go stand back here by the fireplace. I'm lanky, baby. I'm lanky. And I got fat hips. Got fat hips because the artist likes drawing them juicy. Ken, thank you for giving a sub to Hinedu. Also, I really love the new chat. I love the fucking chat. Long lady. Who are we throwing in the fire? I put a guard specifically so you can't. That's why that golden guard is there. So you specifically cannot do that. That is the exact reason. It is bolted. Okay, it's not bolted. It's pretty heavy, though. It's pretty heavy. Lady Longlegs, it's fine. It's fine, baby. It's fine. You think you can stop me? Just start shoving Ordained, like, through the opening in the top. Whose skull is that? The skull on the wall over there? The one on the right? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You don't need to know. Think of it self-care. I actually have a entire thing of fucking gamer subs over here that I made some sort of unholy blue concoction in. I'm trying to remember what I put in here. Blueberry lemonade and blowhole blast, I think, because I had a sample pack of blowhole blast. You would like Mountain's chains? Oh yeah, my chains. My chains, baby. My chains. They also move with everything. You know, we can just like do this. We also have the extra arms. Don't you worry about those, baby. Don't worry what those are going to be doing. I can also now flip off chat because they deserve it. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So can we hold hands now? Yes. That's why the extra arms are for. They're for holding the wives' hands. They're specifically for holding wives' hands while gaming. Gatorade flavors are now blue and red. That is not true because there are like 3 red ones and like various shades of blue. And I'm telling you right now, guys, the best Gatorade flavor to this day is still cucumber watermelon because it tastes like summer. I will die on that hill. Actually, I won't, but somebody will. Only cops know the flavor. Only cops know the flavor. Listen. The only reason I know Cuke Melon, no, because it's gone. It's been gone for like, I mention this every time this topic comes up. Yeah, stupid shit to talk about. Cop, shit, she's on to me. She's on to me. She knows I'm a narc. But they got rid, ACAB. they fed. No. I'm totally not a VTuber psyop to catch. Don't worry about what I'm here to catch. Narc go rounds? Oh shit, my own wife is turning on me. Your wife knows you're a cop? Shit. Hi, Doncler. Gotta catch these hands. Just a honeypot. Game over, man. Everybody run. Game over, man. Oh, Jesus. All right, let's see. Hold on. What other nonsense do we have over here? Everyone who arsoned is going to jail. It's the, what is it? Wasn't there like a Bo Burnham joke somewhere where he like says something and like, can I get a woo? And like everybody who woos is like, gotcha, bitch. Get him. Was it like pot or something in like a state where it's illegal? You'll never take me alive. I think I could catch you. I got long legs. You'll never have enough jail cells. That's probably true. That is almost certainly true. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You can't catch me for arson if I arson the catching? How does that work? How are you arsoning the cat? Are you burning the nets? Is that what this is? Am I catching y'all with like an animal control net? Is that what this deal is? Is that what we're putting up with? I do have a sniper. I do in fact have a sniper. Sometimes it aims itself. We need a crime brulee Marin. Yeah, it's fine. I'll just remake this room. But is those long legs coordinated? Sounds like more leg to trip over. How could you? Oh my goodness, another season pass? Hi, Iron. Wait, why did I think you resubbed yesterday or something? I don't know, sounds flammable. Metal microfiber? I don't know what nonsense I can make up to make it sound like I'm a child playing a game where it's like, no, you didn't catch me. I have a force field. You can't catch me. Those legs gonna make people trip over their words? It's fine. You wanna know hold on, chat. Do you wanna know one of the weirdest things that I did not have an input in for this model? You can actually see it, but I think it's very funny and a little interesting that they did this. Leggies, yes, leggies. It's right in here. If you look right here, that's a belly button. They made the latex corset so tight, or the leather corset so tight, that they put a belly button imprint looking. Canonical innie. It's okay. I am canonically an innie. Vacuum sealed, baby. Vacuum sealed. Can you breathe? It's fine. Don't worry about it. I don't need to breathe. I don't need to breathe. Hi, Marikar. Welcome in. Fucking laptop slam. I'm sorry. I just like the belt. This belt dangle. Yeah, belt dangle. Let's go. I like my belts. I like my belts. Vacuum sealed for ultimate eldritch freshness. Oh God! Hold on, is Broth here? Oh, we shouldn't be talking about this if Broth is here. Broth's gonna end up making some sweaty shit. Soothing Tubert, listen. Wobble, yeah, wobbles. That's probably my favorite part about the belt. Instead of having it like tucked away, Drool decided to have it hang, and it wobbles. Wobble, wobble, wobble. I also specifically requested with the rigging that we don't do the like obnoxious VTuber breasting boobily. So they're quite rigid, if you will. How much of a sass upgrade did you get with the model? Extremely. Extremely, baby. Oh shit. Thank you for the bits. At your Graham's house, baking it, and by it, let's just say some cookies. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Summoning Broth like a shoe body bob. Shoe body bob. What is that? I don't get that. I don't understand. Yes, you can't steal BAPs anymore. BAPs are gone. This is it. This is all you're getting. This is all. Although I do promise. I'm not gonna lie. The summer outfit for next summer is going to be not this coming summer, the next summer, because that's going to cost a lot. And I haven't even started the design yet. It's a themed out animation for catchy songs. Oh, I see. So, Graham, what the shit? How could you? How could you, sir? Hold on. Look me in the eyes and tell me that you're just doing that because you're being nice. Look me in all the eyes. All of them. Every single one of them. Each one individually. Answer the question. Looking. Looking good. Thanks, babe. It's fantastic. I love this model. It feels snazzy. Although it does kind of feel like Drool made it with the like small eyes, because I don't know why. When I look at it, the face feels really blank without them. So I really like the small eyes. I like my little bitty eyes. And then my clump. Hey chat. Hey chat. You hungry? Mackin'. Mackin'. Monster mouth, baby. Ginger, thank you for the 2 gifts and subs. Teeth. Anyway, you did get a preview with them with the tongue, because if you didn't notice, there they are. Hi, Makari. How are you doing? Big booty bish. Smells like a bish in here. Smells like a bish in here. The little eyes go plink plonk gently. Yes, yes, they do. What you looking at, chat? I don't know why. For some reason, the eye clump to me is my favorite. And it's just kind of like, do I have something on my face? Something wrong? What's the deal? This is also the reason that this model was a bitch to rig. It is this and chat. You are going to behave. You're going to behave, right? And this. Hi, chat. No, yeah, I should have figured. I should have known. I should have known. Eyes are a motherfucker to set up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's so many of them, too. Nyaha. Nyaha. And they're all tracked. Fantastic. Fantastic. I stared at my soul and let my soul stare back. Your soul is mine, Makari. It's always been. But yeah, there's a lot of big things for shits and giggles built in here, and I like the back eyes. I love the back eyes, baby. Anyway. Any who's its. Hi, Zone. When the streamer's really perceiving. Damn it. I don't have the 3D model open. I can't do like the turn around and stare at chat. Just with the, what you doing over there, chat? What you doing over there? Huh? Bitch. All right, hold on a quick second. Let me do a little bit of this. Yeah, this is fine. Gotta avoid him to burn the chain rings? Listen, it's fine. I'm taking notes for future Baron arts. Go right ahead. I still like this. Jacked. Yes. Yeah, just remember, chat, you gotta, when you take your shoes off, you put them where they belong. When you take your jacket off, you put it where it belongs. Totally not eating the forbidden cotton candy in the concession stand. There shouldn't be any forbidden cotton candy at the concession stand. There's the actual cotton candy we sell. The one that kind of bites back. And the pickle one. The pickle one's totally normal. Jacket on the feet, shoes on the hand. Wait, what? Why do you want my shoes off? No, I was just making an example here. I mean, it's not nice to wear shoes in other people's places. Where did I find this cotton candy? I don't know. You tell me. People want wall candy so much we just started selling it. Oh. Is it asbestos wall candy or is it... Sunstar, did you start stocking fiberglass cotton candy? Eat the slime candy? Inky cotton candy? Oh no. Inky fell into the cotton candy machine. What are we gonna do? Seller? Okay. That works. Yeah, go ahead. Hello, Ben. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Having a wonderful day and night. Also, the new model looks lovely. Well, thank you, Haitian. Haitian sensation. I love saying that name. I'm sorry. I love saying that name. Unappetizing, chewy. It's a little stringy. It does make some suspicious sounds on occasion when you try to eat it. Time to sell the inky cotton candy? Yep. Sometimes you may get lucky and find a surprise. And by surprise, of course, I mean Inky's thong, but, you know, that's somebody else's problem. Categorically deny wondering what flavor Inkari is. You wouldn't say that after the goo embeds itself in your gray matter and dominates your minds? Me? I don't have brain. I don't have organs. I take organs. Why do you think I have that skull over there? That's not mine. That's somebody else's. I just wanted it. Mocha, what the shit? The Makaton Kandari? Christ. We love cordyceps in this household. Everybody loves zombie fungus. Isn't it great? And by surprise, I mean Inky's song. Oh my god, taxidermist ringleader. It's, well... No, I didn't say... That's not taxidermy. I'm not, like, putting spray foam and, like, pulling skins over like, the foam to make it look like the animal's still kind of alive. I'm from candy to thongs in less than 3 minutes. Listen, if you know what Inkari looks like, you know what I'm talking about, okay? If you know what Inkari looks like, you would know what I'm talking about. And her and her massive whale tail. It puts the lotion on the skin. Or else it gets the hose again. Do you want the hose, chat? Do you want the hose? Do you want to go to the bottom of the well? Thank you for the self-care. More gamer subs. More, I say. Yes, Iron, what can I do for you? Maybe it is actually a good idea to mix gamer subs. This is actually way better than just a regular blue lemonade. Free shower! No. I'm already at rock bottom. Can't get much more bottom. You'll be fine. That's when you realize that the bucket, when you're at rock bottom, you're in a bucket hanging over a crevice. And the bucket is rusty. I like mixing Red 40 and snake oil. I have not had either of those flavors. Red 40 is pretty new, if I remember right, though, isn't it? Is Red 40 a raspberry flavor? I'm pretty sure I remember looking at it and being like, those motherfuckers stole my flavor. Damn it. Damn it. I wanted to make the raspberry flavor. Lemonade mix as well with damn near anything. Yep. Those bastards. Those bastards. All right, chat. Do you want to see one of the other things while we talk about a thing? Y'all have been extremely generous with these. I'm sorry. I just saw the weekly passes in the corner. I did not realize it had been that many. Jesus. But lemonade is just a base for more flavors. I agree. Although I do like the, I have a non-caffeinated version of the, what is it called? Something antidote. It's like the limeade one, and it's pretty fucking good by itself. 5 more? Yeah, it's going hard. I was going to say, though, guys, we're going to do a donathon. I mentioned it earlier this week, but it's technically to raise funds to move because we ended up with some surprise funds. It's going to be complicated. Do you want me to explain that now? Or I don't know if there's anything else I can show off over here. I don't know. Do we want to bring the desk back? We can always bring the desk back and we can just go near plop. Hi, chat. Hi, chat. Don't touch my tea. Don't touch my tea. It's actually not tea. That's the Gamer Subs cup. Got it? Listen, it's fine. Okay, back with me. You look lovely. Thank you, Impy. Enjoy your work. I really like this. I really like this desk. Fucking Sean went over the fucking top with this desk. What's in it? It's blueberry lemonade and blowhole blast right now. 1 scoop of, well, technically 1 pack of blowhole blast because I had a sample pack of it. Ah! Speaking of the devil. Speak of the devil and she shall appear. Welcome, Insai. How are you doing? How was your stream? It's Pickle Chan. Oh no. Oh no, not Pickle Chan. Speaking of which, have the pickle cravings started yet, Sai? Zooms in on papers to see if it can read. That's actually not in English. That's in Carnivalese. No, thank you for the gifted subs. Wait. What the shit? Huh? Wait, which one of those was that? What the fuck? Hello? What was that? Okay, that was gifted subs. Who did that? Mass gifted subs? Oh my god. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Delete, delete, delete. Undo. Can I undo? I'd like to undo. Son of a bitch! I forgot a thing! I always forget a thing. How could I do this to myself? How could I do this to myself? Ah! Not the scuff! Not the scuff! Shit. This one? I think it was this one. Open. Nobody move! Okay. I think that's been fixed. I think. Mostly. I need to change the time on it. It's always something. It's always something. That's what happens when there's like 4 different things for gifting subs. I did it to myself. More and more subs. No undos. I can't undo, but I fixed it. I can't undo, but I fixed it. Oh my goodness. Yay, Scuff. Listen, it's fine. It's fine. I was planning on making this way more complicated with like new redeems and everything, but that'll come later. That'll come later. Hi, Jade. God, she's even hotter now. Listen, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. That's why we don't give money to Twitch. True. But all right, chat. All right, chat. It's time to go talk about a thing. Let's do this. We gotta talk about the donathon and what it's for. So let me just come over here. We'll just swing this down. All right. Ah! Wait, what the fuck? That's not supposed to move. Why did that move? Huh? Ah. That was stupid. That's just OBS being stupid. And apparently when I slid stuff, it inserted it somewhere else. It inserted into the folder that's supposed to move mitosis. Mitosis, light and dark Marin. Light and dark Marin. It happens. It happens. Anywho's it's. Anywho's it's. Hi, Chad. Ah. Ta-da. Ta-da. Screen time. Light mode Marin. Light mode Marin. Nodders. 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 All right. Give me just a second. Let me do this, I think. Is what I want to do. Yeah, that's fine. I like standing in front of it a little more. But, chat, we had a bit of a problem. And I mentioned this before. When it came to the housing funds, we ended up falling short a little bit. So the goal is to raise $6,000. However, we are splitting it. We are splitting it 3 ways. Me, Faye, and Sai are going to have goals for $2,000 each. You probably can't read very well, but in that bottom corner, like right over here, right there. That says stretch goals available. After we pass the 2K, we'll probably have some goals that I'll be sharing with Sai and Faye. So like food crimes and stuff I will do when they hit those goals. And a bunch of, I can't read it all. I'm a VTuber. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's okay. I'll read it to you. It's okay. I'm going to read them to you and I'm going to explain. Another no swearing praise. Yeah, fucking. How long did we go last time, Sunstar? Because it's going to be pretty much the same thing. Dad, go around, take us fishing again. Exactly, Sunstar. Is that where I need to sign my money? Yeah, the Ko-fi. The Ko-fi is where you can donate. Can I get somebody to make a pin message? Not just the link of Ko-fi or not just the message of Ko-fi, but would you take the link and make it into a, like, explaining that this is for the house fund? But the forget she can't read. Listen, it's fine. It's fine. I can read kind of, sort of. It has to be in red and yellow, though. It has to be in red and yellow or I can't read. That's why all my stuff is in red and yellow. It has to happen. It's the Carney traits, baby. It's the Carney traits. Gotta do what I gotta do. Imagine reading. Nurge! I mean, we do have the actually emote. I can nurge. I can also, like, you know, we'll just... All right, chat. Ready? It's time to read. So, quick speed run through our little goals over here. Number 1, the usual, like when we reach 100, chat, you will be able to make a tweet. It'll go both on, I'm not an unfair bitch, because 100 is a little high typically for like letting chat make a tweet. It is going to go on Blue Sky and Twitter. And if y'all want, we can do separate ones on each. Reading time! Yay, reading time. Extra smart. Extra smart. Hi, Dark Wolf. Megan, wait, what a Megane? What is that? I don't know what that is. I don't understand. I'm confuzzled. Next one is chat emote. Y'all get to pick an emote that y'all want, and we will get it. Right now, we are a little overblown on... So, what the shit? Thank you. Thank you for the 10 subs. On the chat emotes, we're a little overblown on Twitch right now, so the goal is this will likely come in when we get partner. It'll probably have to wait till then, just because, like, right now, I'm even struggling, like, with some of the older emotes, like the Ash emotes. Let me see, like, my smug, like these Ash emotes. I kind of don't want to get rid of, because I kind of want to have as many Ash emotes as possible, because I fucking love them. Have a good night, Mocha. Thank you for swinging in, and holy shit, thank you for all of the subs. Jane! There's Vampire Wife. There's Vampire Wife. Hardtack. I specifically left hardtack on because I thought it was hilarious. Because I thought it was hilarious. Please and thank you. What is it, Haneru? You're my cat wife. Vampire wife, cat wife, octo wife, lime wife, aka pickle wife, aka club wife. Nodders, 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 nodders. Okay. Where were we? Ah, no swearing. All right. I only put no swearing just as the phrase. It's actually going to be a, what wife am I? Fairbanks, you are techno wife. You are techno wife. Add quote pickle wife. The many names of the wondrous green creature. But for the no swearing, it's going to start with a 1 hour timer and it's going to go up. What did we do last time? I'm thinking 5 minutes every swear. Is sleeping on the couch tonight? I did say hi to you, Hanedu. What the shit? Mocha! Mocha? Oh, fuck. Hold on. Hold on. I just realized something. See, there it goes. Up the wall. Up the wall for some reason. I know exactly why it's doing that, though. I had this problem when I was making all the other ones. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Forgotten wife is crazy. There is no forgotten wife. I'm forgotten wife? God damn it. God damn it. I'm going to file for divorce at this rate. One last one. Bye for real? Really, Mocha? Giraffe? 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 Giraffe! Well, chat. Well, chat, I guess it's time to make a tweet and figure out what emote you want. Don't you sip on me over there, mister. Don't you sip on me over... Oh, my God. So. Jesus Christ, you guys. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Sunstar. Thank you for pinning that. Wait, what is the view 2? Okay, no, it's just the 10 gifted still being up there. I was like, wait, 2? Did it start a hype train again? Time to make that tweet? Okay, we'll make that tweet in just a second. Let me see. But let's get through the rest of these real quick. So, no swearing again is going to be a 1 hour timer. It's going to count up. I'm thinking 5 minutes every swear. And you know how much I swear like a goddamn say blah 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 sailor. If I was Jane, I'd probably also make it a shot caller stream, but I don't own a shot caller, so who knows? Who knows? Swearler. Yeah, Swearler. You can borrow mine. All right, I'll fly over to Germany to pick it up. I'll buy the $700 plane ticket to come pick it up. I think it'd be fun someday to do that. I don't think there's any of the, like, really any femme VTubers really use shot callers for some of their streams. I think it'd be kind of fun. I think it'd be fun for certain things. Hi, cool, awesome dude. But 500 chat animated. That's also just an animated emote. I do have some of the other ones that we've requested written down. That is again going to be a what do you call it? It's not gonna be like a poll. We'll basically do it right here in chat at the time that like it's hit. So we're also going to talk about the regular emote in just a couple minutes. 750 is our return to Hello Kitty Island. What's the last game that you expect a horror streamer to play? Hello Kitty Island. So if we hit that, so we'll be playing that. Again, we'll be returning for a second episode of Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Who hit me up regarding the shot caller? In regards to like what shot caller you have or like what's it like? Chat poll, we pole dancing in chat? Oh my God. No, it's not gonna be like we may do a poll that's like up a Twitch poll. But first we're probably gonna like see if y'all rapid fire ideas for emotes and see what y'all want. 1K is the halfway point for my third of this. So I'm marking that as doing a 12-hour show. That will probably be in the future after the move. Unfortunately, just because I can't do a 12-hour show. Unless I get like an entire weekend. But in that case, it's going to be spontaneous. Queens, thank you for the $50. All right, that's the 1 hour AMA. To wander the grounds, be careful out there. Have a good lurk, Ordain. All right. Chad. Queens is the Chad. Y'all have no idea how much of a Chad Queens is. All right. Where was I? A 12-hour show. $1,250 is going to be a voice pack release. I'm going to record an entire like alert voice pack and I'm going to give it away on my Ko-fi. It is going to be completely free. Any streamers or any person who wants to use it is going to be free to use it. I don't know exactly how much I'm going to put into it in terms of like how many, it's basically going to be, like I said, an alert pack. So I'm going to do at least 2 for every alert. So like 2 for a follow, 2 for sub, 2 for like bit donos. 1.5 is the Dad Go Round returns. So if y'all don't know what the Dad Go Round is, I don't think I've done this since I moved to where I was. Thank you for the $5, Iron. What was it? The I'm brain farting. We haven't done it in a long time because I think the last time I did it was when I still lived in New England. That is essentially a stream where we start early in the morning. I'm talking probably like 7 or 8 a.m. And we have a Dad's Day where I basically take all of chat out and we go fishing. Unfortunately, we can't do physical fishing yet. Someday we will go out and do real fishing on stream, chat. I promise. That is on the list. It is on. Yes, Fin Thought, Hardened Tot, baby. We'll get out the dad hats. We'll break out the dad hats again, and we will have an early morning. It's probably going to be Fishing Planet. I don't think I have the Angler. I'm pretty sure I only have... I have Ultimate Fishing Simulator and I have Fishing Planets. We may actually jump between fishing games. We may even break out web fishing and let anybody who wants to join come play. For anybody that has like web fishing would be able to join. Penguin, thank you for the $10. All right. Where were we? Dad Go Round. Drink stream. That is actually going to be a stream. I hate to say this. It is going to focus generally around probably like, we'll probably do something like, we'll be drinking during it. I'll probably grab a couple other people. I may grab Kira because Kira is super smart at drinking stuff. And we may do things like, we won't be able to like make cocktails, but we may come up with like recipes for VTubers. Fishing boys. But we may come up with like VTuber cocktails and stuff. So I think that'll be fun. Wait a second. What is this song? Oh shit, I haven't heard this song in a long time. This is gonna hurt by 6 a.m. The OBS Smasher. What do you mean yes, the OBS Smasher. OBS Smasher probably, I imagine it is not being a classy drink, so like it's not going to be absinthe. It could be maybe tequila based. I don't think I could go with like the imbecilic kind of idea. All right, chat. There's also another thing that I forgot to do, and that is set y'all up with something to do during the ad break that just started. Because I am so smart. Chat, you have no idea. I'm so goddamn smart. I constantly forget things, you know, as you do. Shut up. All right. I could have swore this is wider, but this is fine. This is fine for now. And then let me do a quick thingamadoohickey. All right. Oh, it is bigger. That was weird framing. Okay. Hold on. It's like, I could have swore this whole thing was bigger. For some reason, it's a box on my end. All right. Let me get this properly set up. See, I've been forgetting shit all week. Like, actually, this morning, I woke up and had a message from Sai. And realized I had completely forgotten to actually finish my fucking incentive board. Cute glasses, thank you, Zyver. But, let me, okay. It actually did load. I didn't have to reset it, which is even better. Even better. As Marin does, OBS, Otherworldly Beverage Service. Write that down. Hold on, I'm putting that in the group chat. I'm putting that in the group chat. Added that. That's yoinked, yoinked, mine. Mine. Okay. Rough. Rough. Rough, rough, rough. Okay. We'll get back to the goals shortly. And then I'll have to go check Kofi for the thingamadoohickey, if you will. Actually, I can probably do that right now. I can do that right now. Let me, where is it? Where is it? Kofi. Kofi, if you will. A little bit of Kofi. Little bit of Kofi by my side. All right. So we're at 26%, which means we are past 500. Okay. Oakley dokley. Hi, Astral. How are you doing? Also, wait a second. I just realized something. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. I had forgotten my outlines. I had forgotten my outlines because I had turned them off back during all of like my preview posting. There we go. Now we pop a little bit more. How's the debut so far? We're doing good. We're hanging out. We're covering the donathon that we're going to be doing for house funds. The thing is too, what is it? Stretch goals. I believe Sire Faye could correct me on this. After the 6K goal is, am I all right to start funding, if they donate to me, can I fund it towards the summer outfit so I can get Izzy working on it? Also, I'm going to bully Izzy later because she said she was going to get some of those emotes done and it didn't happen. All right. Ad break's over, so we're good there. Let's go ahead and... All right, where were we? Drink stream, I explained that. That's going to be probably some group thing I do to get people together and do like make an event out of it. But then Marin joins it and I forget. All right, guys. I see confirmation from Sai, who is what's the word I want to use? Anchor? Yes, Anchor. Sai's the one who needs the budget, so it is going to be directed to Sai to pay for the house funds and stuff. So I believe after the total 6K goal, ooze up, yeah. Oh, that should be an emote, not an emote. It should be an emote, but it should be an emote like bird up. We need an Izzy version of bird up. That's what we need. Throws her overboard. Marin got oozed. It happens. It's fine. It's fine. Everybody's busy. Everybody's busy. But 2K 24-hour stream, guys. That is not to say like we'll do a 12-hour stream and then we'll do a 24-hour stream. No, that 2K upgrades it to a 24-hour stream, which I realize now makes the 12-hour one redundant. That just hit me. Ticket. There's a monkey. But scam. No, listen. I just realized that, which means I'm going to change it. We're going to do a 2-hour stream and a 24-hour stream. They will probably be separate. They will probably be far apart. But 36-hour stream. Oh, Jesus. Maybe? Is that what y'all would want? Or would y'all want 2 like long streams, maybe like a couple weeks apart from each other? We could do a 36-hour stream. What do you mean 128-hour stream? Are carnival tickets scratch and sniff because I've been scratching my ticket, but it just smells like ticket? It depends on which ones you scratch. But like sleep between? 36 hours of Marin? That could work. We could do that. The thing too is I wouldn't do it until after the move. So I mean, like, I could just tag Faye and Cyan and they get to control the model for like a little bit. Pause the timer and play it when you get back. We could do that. I've done a 24-hour plus stream before for my birthday. And I actually planned out that entire 24 hours and I kind of missed that because I think to this day, that stream may actually still be my most successful stream ever. And that was my first birthday that I did on stream. 12-hour Baron, 12-hour Faye, 12-hour Psy. It's up to them if they want to do like long-term streams. I wouldn't want to like sell my goals as like being like, hey guys, would y'all be willing to do a 12-hour stream? No. That's a decision they have to make. I'm willing to do a 12-hour stream. I'm willing to do a 24-hour stream. Hell, if I'm willing to throw myself off a bridge, I'm probably willing to do a 36-hour stream. A Norway roleplay? What? Possessed by wives so she can sleep? Hell, I may even try and go fuck around with like the color palette and give them each their own color palette on this model. It'd be interesting. It'd be kind of hard because that's the problem with like harsh dark colors like red and black is it's kind of hard to change. Yeah, I don't understand the Norway role playing. I don't get the Norway role playing. All right, hold on a second. God damn it, Tommy. God fucking damn it. All right, hold on. Where the fuck is Broth? Where the fuck is Broth? Yeah, Green Baron for Psy and purple for Faye. The thing is, I don't know if like the red stripes in my hair are their own separate thing or if it's like the whole strand. Because the other model, the 1.0, did the same thing and it made it extremely hard to like recolor it. If Norway is that way, then the other way is yes way? No. Summon the bowl? The bowl? The bowl? The bowl? What bowl? I'm confused. Could I put on different colored jackets? Maybe. Maybe. There's different ways to do it. There's different ways. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. His name is Brothbowl. Oh yeah, summon the bowl. That's what you mean. Duh. No, Tommy already did the thing and Broth already slapped his... The closest thing to Broth's seal of approval, and I think it's hilarious about that, is his time to draw emotes. If anybody's subbed to Broth, do y'all have that emote right now? I need everybody in chat to see Broth's, what is it? His time to draw emote, because it is absolute gold. Vanny, welcome in. How is your stream? Panini Makers. Welcome in, Raiders. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Mar, and I'm the ringleader of the Dark Carnival. I typically play games that are dark, spooky, terrifying, or just whatever my little inclinations like to get into. If you like what you see, baby, feel free to drop a follow, hang out, and enjoy the show. We're currently in the midst of our 2.0 debut, I guess. I'm not one for ceremonies, so I didn't do the weird thing of like, here, I didn't do no feet shit here. We didn't do like the weird slow descent or anything. I'm too petty. I don't like ceremonies and I don't like dumb things. That doesn't mean to say that the things I don't like are dumb. That just means I don't know what else to call them. I just don't like them. Traditions are meant to be broken. Holy shit. Thank you for the gifted subs, you guys. Just instantly showed everything in the quickest time. Yeah. Done. Let's do this. Let's yap. Let's talk about nonsense. There's Baron Go 2. There's Broth. All right, hold on. Let me do a quick thing. It reminds me. I've been meaning to do this. Shit, I don't have any. Never mind. Ah, damn it. Damn it. We need to get partners so I can have more VIP slots. I was just talking about that exact emote, Broth. I was just talking about it. Here, Broth, let me get you a little bit of let's get you a little bit closer. Let's just we'll just break out the glasses. We'll just do Broth's at work. Broth's at work, chat. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. Hi. Hello there. Hello there. Rounds in the ring. Marin, go 2 rounds in the ring. You go 2 rounds in the ring. Put up the dukes, motherfucker. Let's do this. Let's do this. I got hands for days. Come on. Hands for days, baby. You can see me stealing your fridge even more. Oh, son of a bitch. You're not going to find anything in my fridge. Well, except from the freshly opened pack of mozzarella cheese I bought yesterday. Marin finally went rounds. That's there is a toggle on this model that Rin absolutely wanted me to add. I did not. It still technically exists on the model. I did not set it to bind, so I don't have it. Hi, Aya. How are you doing? Now you can open an RB gang with Ray. Oh. You do make an extra points. Also with Finn? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. The thing is, though, is these extra arms were supposed to have, like, extra toggles and stuff. They don't. They don't anymore. Apparently, the layering was weird and they were impossible to use. Like, I can do this. And typically, this was also supposed to have a section for the extra arms. But it didn't work out. According to Rin, the layers did not line up. I was supposed to do all 4 arm cross to exacerbate my disappointment in you, chat. But I can't. Instead, now I can cross my arms to show my disappointment and slap you silly. I fucking love mozzarella, but I steal the whole fridge. No, my mozzarella. I was gonna make some like bulldog chicken yesterday because it looked really good. However, the oven in this house is so goddamn hot. I couldn't open the jar of chicken broth. I had to deglaze the pan. And by the time I got the jar open, it was too late. My chicken was overcooked. I was very upset. I was very, very upset. Chicken broth? Yeah. Actually, I use chicken bone broth, but that's besides the point. I like my extra protein. Extra protein for flexing. For flexing, baby. I'm hungry as fuck. Why'd you have to say bulldog? It's fine. It smelled so good, though, guys. It smelled so fucking good. I was so upset. Who the fuck let mozzarella open? What? Left mozzarella open? No, I just mean like I pulled the seal off the top of the bag of cheese. The thing I was going to do with it is I was going to cook the chicken and then melt cheese over the top of it. And then eat it in a tortilla. French Jade? Jade! Wait, is Jade French? Who was going to tell me Jade was French? I love cheese. I'm lactose intolerant. Big same. Big same. Listen, the thing is, I don't like cheese by itself. I have to have cheese on things, and I love, like, melted cheese. I get cravings for, like, cheesy, gooey shit all the time. It's probably why I like pizza so much. Because I get that cheesy craving, and I have to have cheese with something else. A French jump scare. There's a Frenchman in here. The more French, the more we can build the guillotine faster. That's true. All right, Jade, go grab a hammer. In a bag filled with water in the US? Wait, what? Oh, are you talking about fresh mozzarella? Are you talking about high moisture fresh mozzarella? That's like the original mozzarella. There's low moisture, which is like the shredded stuff. 3 French. I should have known the butler was French. Next, you're going to tell me you're the one who killed Colonel Mustard in the dining room with the candlestick. Don't you lie to me. I hate him shredded cheese, but mindlessly eating a cup of shredded cheese probably isn't a good idea. I couldn't. I'm also kind of picky with the cheeses that I buy. Like, I don't buy those cheeses that look like a borderline plastic, if you know what I mean. The like kind of borderline plasticky cheeses that are like straight little strands. Unless it's Parmesan, because Parmesan's pretty rigid when it's like shredded. But I usually buy whole Parmesan and grate it myself. American? Fuck American cheese. Cheddar and American cheese, I cannot stand. And I mentioned this before. When I was growing up, I didn't like cheese at all, except on pizza. I would only eat cheese on pizza. And that was it. And then when I reached like 19 or 20 was the point where I was like, wait, that's stupid. US cheese? Ah, yes. Government cheese time. I need to get a P&G for government cheese at this point for how much fucking times we talk about government cheese. Pepper Jack is just a good all-purpose cheese. I like Pepper Jack. I like Pepper Jack on a lot of things. But American cheese on the Korean spicy ramen is peak? No. I will never understand why they keep using American cheese for like so many of the like dishes that they make. I'm like, there's better cheeses, guys. Just throw some mozzarella on top of that bitch if you're looking for a cheesy, melty, delicious. What is government cheese? Is it government cheese talk time? Do we need to talk about the government cheese? Okay, wait, who asked that? What is Grins? Are you American? This just helps me like contextualize it. Grins, are you American? Doesn't have cheese. Okay. What? So for those of you who don't know, government cheese is and very much an American thing. In the, I believe it was the 60s during the major like Reconstruction era of America, the government decided that they were going to start funding the dairy industry. And what that means is all dairy produced by the dairy industry is guaranteed to be bought and paid for, either by the people who are actually buying it or what's left over by the company selling it, the government buys, which is why the dairy industry is also so fucking overbloated to this day. However, they buy the dairy products and the government processes it into more shelf-stable types of cheese, which is usually like American cheese and types of cheddar and stuff. My science raid! Welcome in, science nerds. Give me just a second. We were explaining what government cheese is. Now, with this government cheese, what they typically would do with it, and what notoriously and meme-worthy is, they would stick the government cheese in, quote, cheese caves, aka the Wisconsin cheese caves, to keep it easily refrigerated at the cheapest cost possible. Now, before these used to be actual straight-up caves, but since then they've turned them into essentially underground warehouses. If you were born in like the 80s or the 90s and you remember going to primary school, you probably remember the Got Milk ads, which are government propaganda to get people to drink more dairy. The food pyramid, where it says you need to drink a certain amount of dairy, propaganda, not actually real. You don't actually need to have that much dairy in your life. Not even close. I got a raid run. Have a good time, Jojo. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Mara. I'm the lead of the Dark Carnival. I typically play games that are dark, spooky, terrifying, or just whatever my little inclinations like to get into. We are nerding out about government cheese for a second because some people said they don't know what it is. Okay, real quick. If anybody knows what Domino's Pizza, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, all those pizza brands are subsidized by the government because they are essentially given free government cheese for their pizzas. That is why those companies do not go out of business and why their prices are so goddamn cheap, because their cheese has a net cost of 0. Milk doesn't really build strong bones. Calcium is good for you. That's true. But up to a certain point, dairy becomes a detriment to your digestive system. At a certain age, you can't digest it anymore, and it's causing more harm than good. You can get calcium from other, much better sources. Hi, Kami. Enjoy the sub. Enjoy your season pass. USA, USA. So much for that. Free market, free market at work, baby. The World's Dairy Fair, the best dairy on earth, is from Stewart Shops in New York State. Oh, I wonder why. Government also created a nonprofit called Dairy Incorporated, which helps these companies from going out of business for advertising on behalf of dairy farmers. Yep, exactly. The dairy industry is completely subsidized by the US government to the point where it can't fail, which is why ever since the system was in place, the dairy industry has blown from like small farms and local places to these massive, heinously overinflated industrial dairy farms. If you actually look around today, I actually saw a video that had gone viral on Twitter. And it's a video of guys feeding milk to dairy calves. And it's them on a tractor with like probably at least 100 bottles driving down a dirt row next to a bunch of chicken wire fences, each with like a singular baby cow in each one. And they're just sticking a bottle in like nozzles for the cow to drink from. And those are one of those industrial dairy farms. If you see that when you're scrolling Twitter today or probably tomorrow, do government eggs exist? Not in the sense like government dairy does, but most farming and everything is subsidized by the US government. The FDA, I believe, as well as the US Agriculture Department, is in charge of overseeing crops and everything. And I believe the agriculture department also offers insurance to farmers to like just guarantee that like they don't lose their farm or anything typically if they have like a bad crop. Since tariffs, will the college debts be increased too? Not like arbitrarily, because you only owe a certain amount. It's not like those numbers spontaneously go up unless it's from interest. If the interest changes, sure they will go up. Lots of money to be made in failed crop harvest? Correct. Good, Roderick. Good. Yeah, a country where like the farmers will actually do proper protests and shit and raise hell when something or someone tries to screw them over is good. Farmers here have been constantly getting trampled on, both basically from the government and from the corporations that have essentially bought out the small-time farmer. Farmers are very rarely selling their products directly to market. They're more than likely selling it to a third-party distributor that is then selling it wholesale to place it to like the grocers, basically. Fucking bulk they're here? Hell yeah. Here that they even went on the highway and blocked multiple roads. Yep, good. I remember actually seeing that. I was like, this is what farmers need to do. It's small-time farmers. Bought out it's small-time farmers? No, we all take turns taking care of the greenhouse. What do you want about? Yeah, it ain't sunshine and rainbows. It never is. Throwing a literal ton of shit on the place where your government go daily is a peaceful protest. Yeah, throw like a bunch of manure or some shit in like a plaza outside a government building. Works great. Kids. Look up Serbian protests. I don't like the whenever I hear Serbian protests, I kind of just get a little concerned because I feel like there's a gun involved. Yeah, that's what a lot of the farmers do. French farmers, Dutch farmers, I think German farmers did it in the last couple years too, where they essentially like take their tractors and start blocking roads and everything. This also comes into my hatred of roads. Chat, it's time to talk about why roads are the way they are and how the government essentially tried to use their own propaganda of farmers to convince people to fund the obscenely stupid transit projects that they made. Who's familiar with farm to market roads, aka FTM roads? They are basically the roads that will often go between massively rural locations, anything like farms, oil barracks, stuff like that. And they tend to lead straight to wherever they need to go or to the major artery highways. Fuck the man roads? Exactly. They use those kinds of roads to essentially incentivize American people to be like, yeah, you know what? It would be better for products to get from one place to another. So we should build bigger roads. And then they did. And then they were terrible. And then you had more traffic. The ones that throw up gravel and stuff. Not always. Previously, before the major transit update and like highway system in the 60s through the 80s, if I remember correctly too, I think the project technically went on for decades longer than it was supposed to. I think the last highway of the original project from, I think it was 1964, didn't finish until 2004. And I think it was somewhere in like the West. Not like the northern Midwest, more like the southern Midwest. Like Nevada and like Arizona and stuff. The chatterer is good, damn right. Is goddamn right. Yeah. You're pretty and cool. Oh, kudo. Thank you. Throwing 1 ton of shit at a government building. You should do it. I learned stuff when I'm with Marin. Hell yeah, baby. Education time. And now we have glasses to make me look smart. Smarterer. Oh my goodness. All right, chat. We gotta do some of these thingamadoohickeys. All right, we need to swap over. To the, where is it? There it is. There she be. Let me slide on over here. I'm just gonna scoot, baby, scoot. All right, chat. Y'all are already done with the entire left side. The whole left side is just already done. Already done. So we need to figure out what we are going to do with it. So, do we want to go in order, or do we want to do sugar, paper, and baking soda? Why? Why sugar, paper, and baking soda? Yes, we have stretch goals. We do have stretch goals. The thing, though, is I'd hate to tell you, unfortunately, the weird way it applies. The way I'm imagining it is essentially if y'all go past my 2K point, then that's essentially going to be overflow to Sai and Faye. So until we hit the 6K total goal, it's not going to count for my stretch goals. And I know that's a weird thing to do, to just be like, but I would feel bad if like we hit the 2K and then they hadn't been able to hit the goals yet for our like total amounts. So they may be a long way away, but let me double check really quickly. I need, where is it? Our Google Doc. Because I have some of the stretch goals like written down. There are also goals that we'll be doing over at Phase and Size. So like the voice recordings are going to be a thing. Sai's going to be doing ASMR. I'm not a big fan of ASMR, so I don't think I'm going to be in on it. Geeky! Geeky! Chat, you need to go check out Geeky. I know it's my debut, but you need to go check out Geeky. Geeky is a badass vampire. A super badass vampire. But let me see. We have some other things. Like, we'll probably do rage games. I'll probably actually get into Jump King or Getting Over It. I don't know which just yet. I may be offering thigh pictures again. Maybe, if that's what y'all want. What if Faye ASMR? Faye may do ASMR again. You! Zebby! Zebby! How are you doing? How difficult would it be to design a long-range, quick-assembled manure trebuchet? Ooh. What is the longest range a trebuchet can throw? Hold on. Longest trebuchet shot. Known as the Warwolf, 3,377 feet. Not quite as far as you would want it to go. But that's the world record, and apparently it was set at the Punkin Chunkin competition. Damn, I haven't heard of the Punkin Chunkin competition in years. Manure brulee! We get to set it on fire and chunk it. How are you doing, Zebby? Are you all right? Are you having a good day? Oh my god, the nails, sass. I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying hanging out. Remember that the hypothetical projectile would be loosely held? Dude, that's true. That's true. You're just gonna end up like, you're probably gonna end up scattering it across like a big area. But like political buildings are usually in downtown, so trebuchet isn't exactly feasible. Or that feasible, maybe. You know, it'd be worse. Find a farm that does a lot of cow breeding and get the semen. And go spill it on the sidewalk outside. Do it. This is the way. Can you imagine? Can't use manure that we buy. Oh, you're right. And that would be technically. You could do it with dirt. You could do it with like mulch. You could use mulch. Falls over and Spanny falls out of his pocket. Yeah. No, my spaghetti. Ah, shit. Semen brulee. Oh no. All right, let me see. What else do we have? VTuber Smasher Pass. That's something Sai's gonna do. I was gonna do something like, quote, Dark Souls, where we play a Souls-like game and I have to work out every time I die. Thanks for that. I'm gonna go throw up. I'm sorry, Zebby. I just thought it was funny. I thought it was punny. I also have the idea for a bad game horror night where we will find one of the worst horror games ever made, and I will have to play through it. Right now, oh shit, I can't remember what the name of the game was. Right now, the possibility. Oh wait, I don't think I can play Annie. I don't think Annie's on PC. Shit. It is punny. It is very punny. It's gonna be Elden Ring all over again. I know. I know. I'm. Yeah, it's not exactly ideal per se, but worse. Freddy, what the fuck? What do you mean, Freddy Fartballs? I'm Freddy Fartballs. Okay, I hate that. Hard game or worse? No, I mean bad. I mean a horror game that's bad. Like straight up the worst horror games ever made. Like unplayable messes, nightmares to get to work, all kinds of shit like that. Five Nights at Fuckboys? No, I don't mean ones that are goofy. I mean games that tried to be like an actual horror game and absolutely fell on their face. Horror. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh, I do have music stream on here. We could do a music stream. It'd be an entire stream of just like music requests of songs that y'all have like always like over the years just been like hoarding, wanting me to listen to. A ton of Unity Flip assets are actually published. Actually published. Games that took a genuine attempt at it and absolutely ate shit. Made a minty and it's terrible. Isn't Homeless the one with the big, like the giant dude that has the scary white face? I don't think the game was bad. I think that game was pretty cool. I mean, it was, again, like a one-person team. And a Minty is also an asset flip game. Same thing with the Homeless game. And that's just the thing with a lot of indie games right now. It's very rarely ends up with, you need crappy games. I have my unpaid intern who's not aware of this. Sai will absolutely send you a treasure trove. Listen, I mean, he could if he wanted to. I did try looking up some that were like notoriously bad games. Hobo Simulator. That's the one where you go into like the subway. You're like a security guard and you go into a subway trying to figure out like what the problem is with some of the cameras, right? I'm thinking of the right game, right? Cinco Noches de Freddy's. Oh no. Oh no. But let me see. Stretch goals. Watermelon Thigh Crush. I will do that as a stretch goal. Oh, another one is I will do a Vampire the Masquerade one shot. I will actively on this channel GM, be the storyteller for a Vampire the Masquerade campaign with friends. Sai and Faye are going to be in it for sure. I'm probably going to grab at least one more player. At least one more player. And we will do that is actually going to have some production value. I'm probably going to talk to Yui for helping us make like PNGs and probably a UI and stuff for it. The thing is too, is it's not going to be a like neonate game, which anybody doesn't know what that is. Baby vampires. I'm planning on making it a like elder one. So it will be a, what's the word? Don't forget about Bum Fight Simulator. At least I think that was a game. I don't know, but now I'm curious. Bum Fight Simulator. Well, it came up. Oh, it's Bum Simulator. Sandbox game bursting with inappropriate humor and memorable characters. You live in the streets of Bumsville. Do you have what it takes to adapt, survive, and become an urban legend? Oh my god, you could piss on things. You could piss on things and flip off the cops. That's hilarious. Is that a mushroom? Oh god, what is he? Need money. AI took my job. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. The butt tag game. Okay, this is a goofy as shit game, but it reminds me of like the trend right now with people making simulator games, and they're very much just like Unity asset games. That's why I haven't played like what is it, the card shop game, the like grocery store sim game, because they all just look so generic. You'd be amazing for the art. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Also, hi, Wolf. Yeah, that'll be one of the stretch goals. That'll be one of the stretch goals once we reach the like full amount. Sai and Faye are working on it in their own time, in their own way. So unfortunately, those stretch goals will not apply until we each hit our 2K goal. I use the Carnival Totally Real game. Censor, where's this Carnival Totally Real game? Where's this totally real carnival simulator? I'm still waiting. Where is it? I'll add that as a stretch goal too. I will play that on stream. Been there, everywhere, very busy day. Hell yeah. What do you call it when your grandma mouses over a Google Doc? No. Boo. Card shop games uses art from its community, so it's bright side of it. That's true. That's a little better than like stealing generic stuff, but it is most of the stuff or items straight out of the Unity store that have the art and stuff just slapped onto it. I don't know. They all feel sort of low effort to me. They're in place. Chat made games. If chat started making games, I would play them. It's done. It's guaranteed. If a chat member came to me and told me they made a game, I would play it. I would play it. Spanky is a tag game where you run around and slap bubble butts. Why does it specify bubble butts? Hold on, now I gotta look this up. Spanky. Online game. Oh, okay, it's a cartoony kind of game. Oh my god. Okay, I know exactly who if we played this, I know exactly who I need to get for it. I'm gonna need Kira. I'm gonna need Day. And how many players is it? Oh, it doesn't say the max number of players. Is that a Goku outfit? Jesus. Yeah, it doesn't say how many players it is. I think I'm gonna guess it's 7 friends, up to 7. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna need to think of a lot more hyperactive people. Whatever it is, I volunteered as tribute. It's Spanky. Guess I'm making a bear game. The mouth. Go get him, champ. Go get him, champ. Listen, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm sure. I'm sure it'll be dandy. I mean, I do have a company now. I just haven't actively started developing a fish punk. I need fish punk. Yet it's still in concept stages. That makes sense. Just remember to lock it in and don't do what was it? Skull and Bones did. Don't do what Skull and Bones did and like completely rehash your game from the ground up 3 different times. Did y'all know that that game was supposed to be an open world RPG? First person RPG with just ship combat as part of it. And then they canceled it. And then they made it PvP only where it was going to be multiplayer ship combat only. And then they canceled that again. And then they made it a resource gatherer with ship combat in it. And that's what it ended up staying as. Pay to win carnival games. There's like a certain code for like my specific Steam accounts. That's like when I sign into the game, I instantly get God mode. Marin's so cool and hot, and she works out 4 days a week, baby. 4 days a week. But what do you mean, what the fuck? What the fuck at what? Yeah, are you talking about the Skull and Bones? Yeah, you didn't know that. They wanted to cancel, Ubisoft wanted to cancel the game, but because the Singaporean government directly invested into the game, they told them they can't give up on it. It wasn't allowed. Oh shit, 2 more subs till 100. Holy shit. Use code Dark Carnival. Secret server dashboard for 10% off. That's totally not the Gamer Subs code. Totally not the Gamer Subs code. Anti-corpo RPG down with the big fish. I like it. I like it. Get loved, nerd, you dork. You dork. Also, hold on. I should probably actually turn on. Where is it? Up. That's not it. The Ko-fi bar. Yeah. So now we can actually see the percentages we're at. We'll just cancel it for the tax write-off. Government, the hell you will. Yeah, it didn't help that it was also being made in Ubisoft Singapore, so they couldn't cancel it because that's where the company was. Pekka goal? What is Pekka? What do you mean Pekka? I have a question. I have an answer. What's your question? What is your question, boss man? Can we go get fried chicken at that Korean chicken place? Uppies? No. Hi, Stone. How are you doing, Stone? It's good to see you. Hi, Coco. I desire Szechuan chicken. Poor Fairbanks. Bear never has answers for chat's questions. I try to have answers for all your questions. Oh, you're still a little wet. I took Coco outside before we started stream, and it was raining at the time, so she got a little bit wet. The model's giving cool ant vibes. Listen, I'm the ant that shows up with a bottle of absinthe. I show up with a bottle of absinthe for Christmas, and the only difference is it's green for Christmas. Just in finals week, so oh no. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Yeah, I remember finals weeks for me. Why absinthe? White? No, white absinthe is a normal day. It's Christmas, so it's green absinthe. Give me 12 swigs? Oh my god. It's Fairbanks, give them uppies? All right, Fairbanks, come here. Come here, buddy. Let me go ahead and get the... Oh, I don't have the Fairbanks. I don't have the Fairbanks. Good song. Instead, all I have is this. All I have is this. This 4-piece Caniac combo. Oh well. Oh well. I guess we'll just have to live with this Caniac combo. Darn. Darn. Not sponsored. Not sponsored by Canes. I just had this because I thought it was funny. I thought it was very funny. Because one time I think I did eat a Canes combo on stream. Because we were doing a long stream and somebody brought me a Canes combo. Steals a chip. No, my chips! It's okay. At least I know nobody's going to steal my coleslaw. Because I actually like the coleslaw from Canes. Uppies. Oh my god. I don't have an ordained PNG in here. How could this happen to me? How could this happen to me? Darn it. Darn it. Yeah, triple darn it. No McDonald's, shaking my head, not even chalky milkshake. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. All right, chat. We need to do some of these goals real quick. We have all of the ones on the left already done. The bread is better than their chicken. I can agree with that. I like their chicken. I like their chicken. Uppies, I'll send you a PNG. No. No Fairbanks, no ordained PNG. How dare. Fairbanks, send me your scrungle. Send me your scrungle. Up. Finally going to animate chat back to life. Animate chats. Chat animated. Uppies. No uppies. Rain, you're not getting uppies. The choke doesn't work. Yo, look at moves. It do be shaken. It do be shaken. But, all right, chat. We need to do this tweet. We need to do this tweet. So let me... Oh, what's the word? This is actually fine because there's nothing lecherous, if you will. Okay. There's nothing lecherous here, so we can just go ahead and do this. Wait, is that the right one? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Bah. All right, chat. We need to make a tweet. We need to make a tweet. It's time. What do we want our tweet to be? Izzy? What about Izzy? Izzy? Is he here? Since? Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Ah, yes. Oh, darn it. Darn it. I thought there was an easy way to add PNGs, but I guess I was wrong. Why can't you be easier? Okay, reduce that. Oh. Oh, no. Izzy's not the model artist. The model artist is a artist named Drool11. Drool11. They're on Twitter. They also did, they did one of Buff Pup's old models. The, like, first time she had, like, almost kind of a pseudo full, like, the half werewolf model. Drool worked on that one. Hi, Ember. Uppies for everyone, scratch that. Uppies for no one. I think Palms is also drawn by Drool. Pomato Masters, hers is drawn by Drool. But Rin is the person who rigged this one. Well, thank you, Ember. All right, let me really quick. I forgot what I was doing. Oh, I remember what I was doing. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I have to do this the annoying way. The convoluted way, if you will. How dare you make me do this? How dare you make me do this? Ah, shit. I could have swore there was like a quick way to add images to VTube Studio, but I guess I was wrong. All right. Let's do it like this. All right, Fairbanks, come here. Oh, what the? What is it on? Oh my God, it's on the fucking, it's on the red. That's amazing. Hello? That'll do. Let's say it's on the red animation. That's very funny. Yeah, that's very funny. That's apparently the red animation. That's cool. Looking like a can of Coke. Maybe. Maybe. Fairbanks, that would be hilarious. If you did like the like soda meme that was going around for the longest time, but it's just you stuck here. That'd be fucking hilarious. All right, chat, we need to come up with the tweets. Y'all need to come up with the tweets. What do we want to tweet about? What embarrassing thing do you want to make me say? If you leave Fairbanks on the red, it just zips around. That's all it did. Pagliacci, the depressed clown, and no other context for the tweets? Okay. Pagliacci, sad clown. This one? Do we want this picture? Or is there like a different one? Should I just put in Pagliacci? Like this one? Could let quote decide every donation gets you Marin uppies? Mayhaps. Mayhaps. New only cans? Oh my God, new only cans can. Fairbanks! If you were a beverage in a can, what beverage would you be? And don't say oil. Don't say like lubricating oil or something. Dr. Pepper? Oh, I was thinking more of like an original flavor. Or could you draw yourself on a can like you were a mascot for a Dr. Pepper brand? Oh my God, off-brand Dr. Pepper Fairbanks. What would it be called? Dr. Fairpert? Fantastic. She's circus on my ringleader till I go rounds? No! Dr. Pepper Marengo can? I mean, the reds kind of match. All right, but what do y'all think of the Pagliacci idea? Or we could just do this one. Could just be this one. No context, just this picture. Four Loko. Oh. And now I'm out on the road. I've been down before. Hi, Zegamus. Thank you. Only drink limited edition Marengo Pepper. Marengo Pepper. Dr. Marengo Pepper. I feel like it's all been done. I fucking love this song. I'm sorry, chat. I got some guns here. Four Loko, big can for big support. I don't think Four Loko's for supporting. Four Loko feels like the dude that beats you up as soon as you walk out of a gas station with it. Marengo Dew. I don't know about that. I always think the blue Mountain Dew is better. The voltage. Goodbye to all my friends at home. Goodbye to bleh. Bleh. Really is a small world. Is it? What? Huh? You know, never mind the debut. I'm graduating. Fuck this. Throws Fairbanks the opposite direction, hoofs it the other. Oh shit. Knocked over the gamer steps. Thank God I always seal my cups. Coco came running in again. Oh, small world. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Zegamus used to be a mod. Seal your cups, especially if you're double D or pink. Shut up. New England town. Feel the heat coming down. All right. Chat. I have not had any confirmation on Pagliacci. I must know. I must know the verdict on Pagliacci. Is this it? Do y'all want to tweet a picture of Pagliacci? Yeah, Wolf's in a Mage the Ascension game that we play on Fridays. We've had 3 sessions, technically, counting session 0 of each of us, but only 2 full sessions. Merry-go-round energy drink? What do you think? Do you think it'd be like Celsius, where you just have like a shitload of flavors, but they all have like morbid titles? Slaughter Cherry. So screwed our characters need some help? We'll be fine. None of us have like even flexed magic yet, so it's fine. It's fine. Also, we have 5 minutes until the ad break, which is a good thing because I gotta go to the bathroom. Hi, Pretzel. How are you doing? Welcome in. All right, Fairbanks, your uppies time is technically, well, up. All right, Fairbanks, you going in the corner. Going in the corner. What do you have to say for your last words before you go in the bin, Fairbanks? Oh, congratulations. All right. Sent you Void? Void? Oh my God, Void? Is that right now? Is he on your arm right now? He is such a good Void. He is such a good Void. I love that Void. Had too much subs with all this 10% off code? Yeah. Don't buy Cinder's flavor because it's nasty. And not any other reason. Unless you really like pomegranate tea. But I thought the pomegranate tea flavor for an energy drink was weird. Honk! Oh no, I did leave that on. And I totally forgot to open tits. I'm gonna leave it closed. Fuck the world, eat the rich. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Chat, I need ones in chat if you want the Pagliacci. If you don't want the Pagliacci tweet, push no. If we want to go for another idea, I need the council. It's time for the council's verdict. 4? You fucking goofball. 1's for Pagliacci and nothing else. 2's for anything else. But it's all hectic. That makes sense. No, I remembered it earlier when I saw somebody else hit throw, and then I forgot. Straight up just disappointment. It's pyro power, something like that. I thought it was gonna be something neat, like an orange citrus flavor or something. So when I tried it and it tasted like a weird sort of tea, I was like, why? Why? The art conveys nothing to the flavor. So I threw it away. That bitch took, what, 2 scoops and then went in the trash. TF2 gamer subs win? Ooh, that's a good question. Trickies and Noomies? Which one is Noomie's flavor? I have Acid Rain, but I don't know whose flavor Acid Rain is. Acid Rain's pretty good. Bowberry? I know Blowhole Blast is pretty good. I haven't had Bowberry. Passion fruit and mango? Ooh, that actually sounds good. Oh, it's Rainhouse? Okay. I didn't know. I didn't recognize the character on the art on mine, so I was just like, eh. TF2 gamer subs teleported bread? Oh, but wait. What is that? This is gonna get me in trouble, but I can't think of it. Mexican sweet bread. What is this? And just make it taste like this. Conchas? Is that what it's called? I don't know. I've never had to say it. I go to the grocery store. These bitches are in the bakery section. That's what teleporting bread should taste like. Make this a flavor. I got the Bowberry April 1st edition. Is that the one that has the blueberry inflation? Is that the one? Hold on. Hold your horses. There it is. This one? This is the one you got? Don't look at me. I didn't find out about this until recently when somebody was looking at flavors and sent it to me, because I'd only seen this one. But then you get this. Pyrocynical moments. I was gonna Google image search it, but I knew that was gonna be a mistake because I've seen the shit that comes up on DeviantArt. Greek mythologies, that's why pomegranate makes sense with hellhounds. I still feel like it should have been more like an orangey flavor of some kind. Cause like, let's see, is it still here? Yeah, it's still here. Cause like, look at this. She is basically naked, but like, it's orange. It's orange all over. It's bad marketing to make something like give something a color and then not have it feel like the cover of it conveys the flavor or anticipated taste. Yeah. That's also why GamerSubs has... Did they get rid of it? There it is. The I hate anime section. There's an entire section of I hate anime that is all of the non-anime flavors and products. Also, I have Sploosh. I like Sploosh. Sploosh is really good. I think it's apricot or like peach flavored or something. It's really good. Also, chat, you're legally obligated if anybody shows up to your LGS to play a card game with V-card tracksuit combo, you're required to bully them. I like soloist? The fuck does that mean? Was the unique drop a collector, if you will? Yeah, there's a couple of these that have like collector's art on them. Like this one. Like the Dragon Fruit Punch, which is typically the original flavor, and then now they have like an anime character on it. Same thing with like this Crusader one. It's pretty much just like chrome and then like kind of like a black chrome. I do like the browser brew art. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of cool. I've never had browser brew though. Chug juice. I'm also surprised it took so long for them to make a Rocket Pop flavor, and I'm kind of glad it's queso. I'm kind of glad the Rocket Pop flavor is queso, because the Rocket Pop flavors are really easy to make for drinks like this, and they're really good. I kind of want to try banana propaganda at some point. I'm not going to lie. I would like a banana propaganda. Just because I like banana flavored things. Anyway, Pagliacci. Let me scroll up real quick. I forgot the ad break. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Okay, 2, 2, 2. Okay, 1, 1, 4 ones, 3 twos, another 1. That's a little closer than I want it to be, guys. I kind of want y'all to be a little more unanimous on this. Do we need to come up with another tweet idea? Because we're currently doing the chat makes a tweet for the 100. The bananas are propaganda now? I mean, you ever seen Chiquita? You ever seen Chiquita? This is propaganda. This lady, pure propaganda. Pure propaganda of the Banana Republic. Untweets your chat. Is Baron not giving iPad time? I'm sorry. I'll give you iPad time again shortly, I promise. I will run to the bathroom because I really do got to go in a couple minutes, but I want to get this tweet done at least, and then afterwards we can figure out the emotes. I put the tweetable GIF. Wait, which one? Where'd you put it? Okay. The fucking stare. The fucking stare. We're all taking a propaganda at Marin. Here, let me uncross my arms then. There we go. Fantastic. Anyway, glass thought time. All right, chats. Give him caffeinated banana propaganda again. We're also taking a propaganda. God damn it. God damn it. Hi, Ember. It's also with these arms, I did actually specifically request that when I cross my arms, I compress the chest, and then when I let go, they bounce out. I just thought it was funny. I'm behind the tweetable GIF. Did y'all like put it in Discord? Is it in the Discord? Oh. You want the like summon one? No, wait, that's Queen's posting that. Jesus Christ, grins. God damn it. God damn it. Did you see the story of the beavers in the Czech Republic? I have not. That's terrifying. Not the two noses. Is this it? Is this the one? Is this the gift that we're posting? Chat, is this what we're doing? Ones. All right, is this it? Is this a unanimous decision? I don't see any twos. I don't see any twos. Do I say anything in the tweet, or is it just this? Is it just this GIF? Featuring the creature. All right, that's unanimous. All right, I'm saving this. All right. All right. Is it just this? Is this our post? Is this our horrifying post? Cinemar. Yeah, because Grins likes to make the joke that you can just slap Mar or Marmar on anything. And it obviously like fucking it honestly just relates straight to me. Send it, send it. All right, now we got to go post it on Blue Sky. Wait, can't risk it. Can't risk it. I don't think I follow any not safe for work stuff on Blue Sky. Actually, never mind. I take it back. That's a lie. I do, in fact, do that thing. Oh. I might like, wait a second. What is this? Oh shit, draws? Hold on a second, you guys. We have fan art today. Look at that. That's fucking neat. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Straight up jork maxing. I can't even open it outside of home. Hey, maybe time to do the thing and like maybe check maturity filters. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, Nora's there. That's Draws. And I forget her name, but I'm pretty sure I follow her. Let me see. They're tagged. Sticks? Yeah, Sticks. I follow her on Twitter, I'm pretty sure. I see that I don't follow her on Blue Sky. But that's fucking cool. For the past 7 to 8 years, officials in the Czech Republic have been fighting the bureaucracy, getting permits and other red tape in order to build a dam and restore a patch of wetlands to no success. They recently resurveyed the area and found that a family of 8 Eurasian beavers have already built a dam in the area and done the work. A group of 8 50-pound rodents have done in 2 days what a whole government couldn't do in 8 years. Nice. Fucking nice. Content filters are not true strength. Hell yeah. That's really cool. I also like how Draws did himself. I don't know. Okay, by Cryptid Creative. Wait, I think I've seen their art before. I recognize that rabbit thing. But I like what they did with Draws. Draws looks fucking great in this. All right. Real quick, just because I don't know, I'm gonna close that. Go back over here. Okay, we're clean. We are clean, so I don't have to hide this. Make sure we go... I think it's for this. Yeah. And that's it. That's it. Just post it. Just post it. All right. Shot. It is now time for me to go to the bathroom. I gotta go bathroom. I gotta go bathroom. I'm gonna give you an undirected, who don't properly label their content. It happens. It happens a lot. That's why I usually like mute them if it's too frequent. But all right, I'm gonna give y'all words on stream. There's not gonna be an ad break necessarily since we just had one. But I desperately need to run to the bathroom, so we'll be back in a couple minutes. Don't burn anything down. And enjoy Phantom of the Opera. Oakley dokley. What happened? What happened? All right, hold on, Carrie. I got you. I got you. I'll get the link for you. That's easy. That's easy. Let me also repost it. Link, 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 link. There you go. There's the link. It's on Draws's page. All right. We will finish this, and I will remember to produce the music. So help me God. So help me God. Are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of yourself, Ordain? Okay. It begs. Begs. Actually was a word. Actually was a word. Never mind. Carry on. Carry on. All right. Let me put this away. You. Actually, we don't need to bring anything else to back up. We can go to the other side. All right, chat. That means we get to go back over here. Yeah. All right. Actually, chat, we need to discuss. Now it's logistics time. Don't you know? Don't you know? So, we're gonna need our desk. We're gonna need our desk. All right, chat. It is time to decide. The council has been adjourned. Not adjourned. Called? Called to... I don't know. I don't know. I'm not Kono. I'm not a lawyer. I don't do law. I just find evidence. Is the Blue Sky Cinema just it shouldn't be. Oh my god, did it upload it as an image? Let me go see. Oh, it did. Okay, hold on. Delete. Wait, if I click it. No, it really did just only... Does it not do GIFs? Do I have to click the GIF section? Coco! Hold on. Hold on. I think somebody's at the door. I'll be back in just a second, guys. I'm just gonna go schlump. Okay, we're good. Somebody was locked out. Somebody needed to come through and I had to go let them in. Take the video button for GIFs makes sense. Is it? Do I have to do the video button for GIFs to work? That's so weird. That's so weird. Okay, yeah, now it works. I hate it. I hate that. I hate that so much. All right. You have to hit the video button instead of the image button for GIFs. Oh. I know there's a GIF button too, but that's only like... That only takes you to like the tinner kind of thing. So I do know that. I do know that. All right. Chat, it's time for an emote. We need to figure out an emote. What emote do you want? This is very important. So think about it long and hard. I can pull up my old notepad examples that I have written down. Because this does include some of the ones that we haven't gotten yet or are still in the works. So these are stationary emotes. We're going to talk about the static emotes first. The ones that don't move, that don't do anything crazy special except look purty. That to someone else one time too. Did I? I probably did. I've probably just forgotten in the moment. All right. Let me see. What do we have? We already have the new knife. Okay, we don't have a new smug. Would we want a new smug? Also, I'm lagging. Uh-oh. There's some delay with the model. Let me see something really quick. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Never mind. I think we're good. Question mark. I think we're good. All right. It'd be helpful. Uh-oh. No, it's fine. It's fine. It sometimes does that because this model is chunky. And I'm like doing all these mouth movements to see if it's lagging because it's kind of going on and off. Giga Chat emote as new smug. We could do Giga Chat. Giga Chat would be an option. We have concern. Actually, I'm gonna start deleting some of these that I know we've done. We have concern. We have We don't have a new cry emote. We could get a flower emote, a peak. Giga Chad. All right. So we have multiple Giga Chads. Chunky, get more cool things to admire. Chunky confirmed. Shut up. I was supposed to be muscular. It didn't happen because Drew only made the naked base muscular and didn't want to redo the corset. So I'm chunky. I'm squishy. I got squishy tummy instead of the abs that I wanted, which we'll fix in the summer outfit. Marin took away her emotes. At least I still have my... that's another one. Do we want a new marinate emote? Do we want to add that one? Is that the emote that y'all want to rail for? Peak emote, point emote. We already got technically a point emote. We don't have a bonk emote. I kind of like, I wouldn't be opposed to like a giant hammer bonk emote. Hi, Brian. Thank you. Welcome in. Marmites? Do you want it to be like me holding a Marmite jar? Or do you want it to be like a Marmite jar, but it looks like it's me, Brandon? No muscle. Listen, we still got our arms. Our arms are fine. Our arms are pretty decent. Our arms are toned. A Marin Nutcracker emote for the bonk. I wouldn't call it like a nutcracker. I usually just call them bonk emotes. Jarmites? Listen. Marmites? Christ. Okay. Tragedy, misery, it's okay. All the stuff that comes after the 6K, once everybody's like raised their portion and stuff, those stretch goals will be available and they will be going towards getting the summer outfit done. I will probably have to make more goals if y'all actually hit all the ones I already had planned because they don't go very far. In tears, shitting myself because we missed on Buff Marin. Listen, it'll be even better for a summer outfit. It's gonna have a swimsuit. It's gonna have like some shorter clothes for like beach attire, and then I'm gonna get a diving suit on it to burn the mods at the beach. Listen, just because some of y'all don't go to the beach and don't get tanned, it's not my fault. Flag emote, and it's the flag of where you're moving to. Norway? You want a Norway flag? We could do a Norway flag. I don't know who makes those flag emotes though. Communism, amazing. Amazing. About to try to drag me to the beach. Tan to go round. I was considering getting a tan on the model. Having like a tan toggle. Still have like the usual like kind of pale marbly form here. And then have a toggle that gives me like tan. Tan. I got sunburnt last night at night in dark pants under an awning. How the fuck did you manage that? Of your mods went to the beach last year? Oh yeah. That's true. But how often do you do that? And how pasty are you? How pasty are you? How pasty are you, Aussie man? How pasty are you, Aussie man? I don't know why I felt like that. All right. Oh, I actually did write it down. The firefighter with hose. That's what it was. It was a firefighter with a hose emote. I was trying to figure out, I was like, there was something I wanted with like a hose and I can't remember why. And it's basically would end up being like this, like one of those like squirt bottle emotes, but instead it's me hosing chat down with a fire hose. In their own little shadow bubble at the beach. Sunburnt knee 5 minutes after getting back inside. No, I don't. I'm white boy. What do you think? I mean, white boys can still get tan. To be fair, I have a medical excuse for being pale or easily burnt gremlin. That makes sense. I used to go to the pool like every day during the summer before I graduated high school. And so I was usually pretty tan, and like now I'm really pale because I lived up north and you spend 6 months out of the year inside. I didn't expect you to. Oh, was it that easy to tell? No, I'm not that picky. I'm not that picky. But yes, women. Women. Have you seen women? Good Lord. How can you not? How can you not? Ever seen a tan Viking? Yeah. What are you trying to get at? I got moonburn very easily. Makes sense. Makes sense. Have you seen women? Oh, women. Hold on. Women. We could always do the goofy too, like, what is it? Like in high school, it's like, what are you, gay? No, no, no way. No possible way. Shut up. I think I need some visual examples. Too bad. You have the internet. You have the internet at your fingertips. Is the house fund just tied to subs? It's donos. It's donos. It's in the pinned. It's in the pinned, or you can do exclamation Kofi. I still don't know why that does that twice. I do not know why that does that twice. Yeah, it's in the pinned. We have a flashlight emote. What did I want to do with the flashlight emotes? Was that supposed to be a fear emote? I think it's supposed to be I'm afraid and like shining a flashlight ahead. I am maidenless. Maidenless, I say. Hey, listen, some people have a type, and old fat bald guy can be a type. Just depends on how fat. It's time to hit the gym. You can be fat and have good arms. And that is, in fact, a very nice type. No, it wasn't supposed to be just a flashlight. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be me holding a flashlight. Someone say flashlight. 230? That is pretty hefty. Yep, that's what I have. Oh, no! Thank you for the subs. They don't count towards the dono goals, unfortunately. It's fine. Willie the Wizard. Oh my goodness. Oh, and Ape got one. So did Rick. I've seen both of y'all here. Oh my god, y'all started another hype train. How could you do this? How could you do this? All right. Okay, we already have one that I owe you that I have marked next to, which is Goon Chat, which is to essentially get a custom, oh, what do you call it? A custom, like, show. So, like, our little, like, hi guy. Let me see. I don't know if that worked because it doesn't show up on the interface for me because yeah. Our little, like, eyeball mascot dude, but with the goon hat. He needs the goon hats. Let's go over here real quick. Let's do... We need our screen back. All right. Ah! Cal, thank you for the donation. Cow goes moo? Cow does sometimes go moo. Cow does go moo. All right. Let me get the all-important sign. Chat, have you been respecting the sign? You've been respecting the sign, right, chat? Right? Right? Kilda, thank you for doing your season pass. Hi, Kilda. But yes. Yeah, I want to get an emote of this, but it's going to be a show with his, with basically the same hat. That's basically what it's going to be. Absolutely. You got it, Bouse. Whatever you say, Bouse. Sure thing, Bouse. Howdy, howdy, howdy. All right. Chat has been propped bunch of gooners 26 times. Thank you. Thank you for using the counter. We need to use the counter more. We need to use the counter more. I constantly forget it's there. I constantly forget it's there. All right. Oh, actually, really quick. If y'all don't know who Show is, since there's a lot of people here and I don't show him off that often. Here he is. Oh, Jesus. God damn it. How do I get it so that it like auto changes the like size and keeps it like within the brackets? I did it once to something. There's Show. There's Show. Ah! I have been censored. Now they'll never know what I'm going to say. And then some. Anyway, hi Squash. All right, yeah, this is Show. This is our little dude. This is our little dude. He's just a little Show. Someone translate the Morse code. All right. Oh God, I'm gonna have to redo this again. I must resize the things again. All right. So I know y'all had excitement for the chat emote. Is the chat emote still what y'all want? Is the chat emote still what y'all want? My tinnitus is going into overdrive. I'm sorry, Squash. I'm sorry. All right. Inside the frame, then add the thank to the scene instead of the frame. Yeah, but then I'd have to go to that scene every time I wanted to change the whatever it's like pulling from. Here, let me check something really quick. Maybe if I go to the transform section. No. I don't want stretch to screen, I don't think. Whatever. Give us the chat. Is that chat? Is that all in? Y'all want a chat emotes? Do y'all want like a Marin chat or do y'all want like a Show chat? When being topless to others, exposing a bare chest doesn't inherently qualify as lewd under the current Minnesota statute. Let's go. And have perfect ass. That depends. Squash, thank you for the bits. Thank you for the 500 bits. Holy shit, dude. Show Chad? Both? We are not going to be able to do both. Just because we have such limited like static emote slots and we're already capped. So I will have to make the decision on what emote is leaving to add this one. ¿Por qué no los dos? But no, that is we're gonna go with one for now. Show? Everybody in for Show? Everybody wants the Show Chad? Is that the verdict? So I owe y'all a Goon Show and a Chad Show. Do not take that out of context. Do not take that out of context. So next time I get emotes from QB, that will be... I will get both of those. All right. So real quick, before we do anything of like the AMA or the no swearing or anything, we're going to do the animated emotes. What animated emotes do you guys want? I have, let me see, ones that I have written down are a wave emote, an eyebrow emote, a new bug, which is already going to be, I'm going to get that at some point. Waiting on Butt Wiggle by Izzy, a lick emote, a nodders, a take my money emote, an animated wow. What are you doing, Kilda? Kilda, put the camera down. Put the camera down. That is such a good emote. That is such a good... I wonder if I could get something like that, but I don't want it to be like Pepe. I don't want it to be Pepe. I want it to be me. Wow, a blinking eye. I'm not sorry. How could you? I knew what I had to do. What did you do? The balls, Inspector! Why is the balls inspector in town? Oh my God. What the fuck? Thank you for the 20 subs. Holy shit, Robops. Robob. Double it? Double it. Oh my God. I have an overdue ball license. Are you uninsured? Are you uninsured? Are your balls uninsured, chats? Bailiff whack his peepee. The balls inspector is in town, chat. You guys, it's time to start hiding your balls. I feel bad I missed that one. That one's a whole minute ago. I don't know if he's still here. All right. There he is. I'm going to have to confiscate your balls. No! Chat doesn't got ball insurance. Shaking my head. Oh, no. Chad looking for group great gifters. Nice. Thank you so much, Robops. Enjoy the sub, Wolfie. If someone tells you that you can't have balls, is that a ball gag? That's a good question. That's a very good question. My balls aren't insured. They do the insuring? What are they insuring? What are they insuring? Explain! Explain. Tell me your secrets. Man, what if the animated some of the static emotes unless you don't have a lot of animated space? I do actually have some animated space. That animated space is not actually full. Are you telling us you're a filthy insurance agent? I swear my balls are insured. They have a stamp and everything. That's a Chiquita banana sticker. Soul, that's a Chiquita banana sticker. I watched you pull off the banana and stick to your nuts. Wait, so if you don't insure your balls, it's just, they just get taken for free? That's a life hack right there? Is it? Looking for grifters? Okay, gotcha. Let's fucking go. I'm sorry. I'm so used to MMO logic. When I see LFG, I'm like, looking for a group? Nuh-uh. My secret is maple syrup and poutine? Oh. Oh. Okay. What is this conversation I walked in on? Hi, medical coach! Medical coach! Is this, or what's a medical grade cooch entail? Balls are in fact illegal now, no more balls. So now we have the federal ball inspector and the medical coach. Christ. We got a genital mon battle? Oh no. Oh no. Really just getting them all in here. Apparently. Oh my God. Amazing. Amazing combination of names all in a row. Christ. All right. Let me see. What I have some more animated ones here. We have... Okay, we got the... There's a chaos emote, but I also have the marked crime brulee, but we already got the other crime brulee emotes. A bongo cat emote. I call this one a watch emote, but it's basically like one of those emotes of people like eating popcorn. Like a, let me see, an animated version of like this, of like shoveling popcorn in. They're starting to get someone like the Wang Dangler. Don't you dare summon them. Don't you dare summon them. You're going to end up getting the Wang Dangler in here because you said that. I like my crime brulee emotes. I do still have one I owe y'all, which is the charge emote, which is going to be like, I think like Rama's emotes, where like a bunch of little shows come charging from off the side. Clown? We have a clown. We don't have like an animated clown per se, but we do have this clown. We have this clown. You can't run from this clown. This clown will always find you. Wing dangling at the carnival will result in a bad time. Oh no. Oh no. But let me see here. All right. Hold on. What was one of the, I forgot, which was one of the ones that y'all jumped on for animated emotes. What was it? We got distracted hard by the ball inspector. Oh shit. Hi, Dr. Sleeps. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow too, Medical Cooch. And thank you guys for the hype train. What the goblin jam? Oh, that looks like the goblin dance that was going around for a while. That I remember seeing somebody make, and they did it with like a whole bunch of goblin VTubers. Could Boat become animated? Maybe we could get a Boat animated. I don't think it's gonna be the exact same. What I think I'll do is I will go to Halo again, and we will make an updated version. And I could make it where I could ask him to animate it so that it like goes from one side to the other as if it's crossing the ocean. We could do that. Hard by the ball inspector. That's for the... Thanks for the follow. Carrie, your spelling. Jesus. That's for the follow. That's Carrie. That is also still not the right one. What is hard by the ball, inspector? I did not say hard. Hold on, where is this? Okay, this isn't the song I thought it was. Okay, you did actually fix it. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Ball inspector? Yeah, there's somebody here named the ball inspector. The balls inspector. And then we also have Medical Cooch. It's May. Why is it hailing? Yeah, it was storming and raining here earlier too. You said distracted hard. Oh yeah, distracted. That's an important fucking word, Carrie. There we go. There we go. It's fixed. Can't listen right now, but you look beautiful. So excited to finally see your debut. Send you my love. Hi, welcome in. That is totally all right. Wait, Alex, you changed your name. I just realized, like, who's, wait, VIP? Oh my God, it's Alex. Thank you for the bits. Speaking of law VTubers, Marin goes through the quotes and complains. Donathon goal. Ugh. All 1,044 of them. Oh my God, should we? We could. We could. That could be a stretch goal. We just review all of the quotes. We review all the quotes, all 1,000 plus of them. Wait, that's a pack it up. Wait, that's a cute emote. I like that emote. I animated if it helps. Wait, what did you do? What have you done? It's cool. It's the thing too is though is that is an emote Ash made for me. And I don't really want to use something that was re-edited from her art. It's because I believe like Ash's like art style and everything, it's like uniqueness and stuff. And I don't want to something like that to rub off wrong on Ash. Going over 1,000 plus quotes. We could do it. We can add that to the stretch goals. Here, give me just a second. Let me get this open really quick. Because now I need to open the thing. The thing, yes, the thing. The thing and the stuff. The thing and the stuff with the person and the thing. Let me do it on this other page. And then it was quote review stream. Because I will forget that one if I don't write it down. I promise you, I will forget it. That I never noticed I fucked that up till 300 quotes later. Oh my God. That was from that one movie we watched. I know it is. It's from that one like Cthulhu short horror film. I'm almost entirely certain. Chat made me draw VTubers from memory. Draws bow pregnant. Thanks, Buff. Thanks, Buff. That's fucking hilarious. Yep, yep, yep. Yep, yep, yep. All right. Yeah, Buff's like, that draw VTubers from memory and just draws bow pregnant. Christ. All right. So you fucking posted the same GIF. Okay. Let me find some certain things. Okay, I don't need this open. I don't need this open. I don't need this open. That was, in fact, multiple things that I was clicking. Okay. So, did we have a verdict on the animated emotes? Was there one that y'all really wanted? It was a funny stream too. Chad tier 3. Y'all won like an animated Chad? I'm back. Who won? Who won for which part? Which part? What are we comparing? The Chad show? The Chad show was the one that won, if that's what you're asking. I won, Sunstar won. See? Sunstar won. All right. What do we want for? Tier 3 is the Chad? Oh, it could be. I'd feel bad, though, if the Donathon goal emote became just like a tier 3 or something. Wait. Oh, Tachyon. Thank you for renewing your season. Tier 3! Oh, shit! Thank you. Holy shit. All right. Ogally dogally. Ogally dogally, you guys. Cannot without the sounds. It happens. It happens. I'm easily distracted, and the sounds previously were what would like catch my attention. Because sometimes my eyes are like disconnected from anything I'm looking at besides like trying to read chats. So like, it's weird. It's stupid. Marin go evil win? Is that what you want? Do you want something like that with like the fire and stuff in the background? That could be an actual crime brulee emotes. That is true. Tier 2, tier 3s do get special access to all of the early stuff we're working on. They'll probably also get an early look at the first video I make for YouTube, which I need to get off my lazy ass and do. Because originally I wanted to release it on debut day. But then my fucking software decided to eat shit and decided media offline, media offline, media offline. Want a break from the ads? The balls, Inspector. Named Medical Cooch? Yes, you did. You missed. Medical Cooch came in right after you. You missed him by like a hair's breadth. Don't think about that too much. All right. Jade. Jade. Sag. No. I don't know if Medical Cooch is still here. Medical Cooch, sound off. Are you still here? Marin twerk emote. We have that. We have our dump emotes. We have all 3 of our dump emotes. And Ko-fi memberships to avoid Twitch sniffing our tickets. Sniffing our tickets. Sniffing because because you said that they were scratch and sniff, and get an unlisted amount of benefits because we've lost 2.0 previews. You'll be getting the summer previews as those summer outfit previews as those come around. Hi, Warren. Yeah. I'm snazzy now. I got so much nice tracking. So much details. Actually, hold on, let's do this. Yeah. Yeah. All right. See, summer go around before anybody else. What about a combo of brick throw and crime brulee? Like an animated Molotov throw? Is that what you're thinking? Everybody needs a fucking running around. That is a pretty good emote. That is very good emotes. Okay, so Molotov throw? Is that what you want? We'll change, like, we'll get like a more custom brick emote that instead of throwing a brick, it throws like a Molotov. What the hell is that? What is happening in that emote? Are they scooting? That just says chat. That just says chat. A show arrives, show scatter. We could, but if you look at like, I think it's a symbol. They're a little. Daniel Peppick, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Oh, that one could work. Something similar to that. We could do that. Do we want like a symbol or do we want a scatter? Do we want like a show scatter? Is that what this is? What's a symbol? If you have 7TV, you can see it. If you have 7TV, you can see what a symbol looks like. The yes, please to which one? The symbol or the scatter? Feel more appropriate given how often you're admonishing chat? That makes sense. That makes sense. When it's that small, isn't it? Which one? Which part? A hardtack emote? What would a hardtack emote look like? Like how in the little clip that shows up, he like taps the hardtack together. Is that what you want it to be? I could get it. Like, it'd be like a little bit animated, and it would like slap. They would like smack together. Scatter emote. The nearsighted of Twitch. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Are you talking about the Donathon board or something else? This thing is usually like much bigger. We make our own hardtack. We could make hardtack as like a stretch goal or something. What about mouth popping emote? Would y'all want a mouth popping emote? The or it could do the weird one that I do where it's Anyway, cook the tack and hard the smack. What? Pop and hyper pop. Trying to think of things you do is oh goodness, sorry. Need a chaser. That's we're gonna get a static chat emotes. Or would y'all rather have a animated chat emote like Val's there, where it has like the multiple angles? We could do that. Marin go jail. Okay. So real quick, let me see. We have go jail emotes. Animated Chad. Good night, Zegamus. Good night, Aussie man. Thank you, Jay. How you doing? What it do? Hey, Bob. Hi, Astral. All right. This, but Marin. Okay, so let me add in the chaos / fire. And were there other ones? Were there other ones that people wanted to multi-vote on? So I'm narrowing it down to what y'all pitched so far. Wait, what is the chat emote? Somebody post Val's chat emote again. Ape, can you post Val's chat emote again? Hold on, I think we also have the 7TV one, which is There it is, Giga Chad. So there's like that one. Basically, not like the slide-in one, more of like the multi-angle ones where it like pans through a bunch of them. That's the plan. That's the plan for this one. If we did go with the animated Chad, we can make a different decision for the static emote. I think we only need like one Chad emote. I don't think we need to get a static and an animated one. No, not the thick slide one, not the Omni-Man booty meme. All right. All right, so I have 3 down: the Go Jail, the animated Chad, and the Chaos and Fire one. Mirren, go bigger slide. I mean, it's already on 7TV. What are you laughing at, Astral? It's what? Booty meme instead? Shut up. Listen, we're already gonna get a booty jiggle one. Izzy's making a booty jiggle one. And if you remember what Izzy's old booty jiggle looked like, I think you're going to like this one. Oh, that's right. That's what it was. The Molotov throw. All right. So we have Go to Jail, Animated Chad, Chaos and Fire, or the Molotov throw. This but Mowen? Namzu? We could with like, you know, where is it? Nom, 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 nom. But I'm not really that much into Vor, so I gotta go take a shower. Go ungamer yourself, Ordain. No, we're not doing a Vor emote. I'm vetoing that one automatically. All right. That's not the booty shake I was talking about. Killed it. It's the older one. The older one that got deleted off Twitch. Marinko Ma. Haha. Smack, 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 smack. I like how your brain translates Marin as Mowin. Mowin. Meowin. It happens, okay? It's fine. It's fine. Meow? No meow trains. No meow trains. Tifa. No. Next. Thanks, Pearl Jam. All right. I also like how much how much wider it goes. So it is kind of weird when I talk. And then I went to the dentist. All right. So we need to figure this out. Chat. I need 1s for Go to Jail. I need 2s for Animated Chad. 3s for the Chaos one. 4s for the Molotov throw. Again, 1s for Jail. 2s for Animated Chad. 3 for Chaos and Fire. 4 for the Molotov throw. 3s, 2s, 1s. 3s, 1s. No, we're doing it this way because I'm going to do it a different way. I have a plan for this, I promise. Okay. 7? What is 7? Squash, you fucking dork. You voted 2. I see you. I see you in there. You can only vote for 1. You can only vote for 1 right now. We're not running ranked choice valid here. Tachyon, are you voting for 3 or are you voting for 4? 3, okay. So, 4 is out. The Molotov cocktail is out. Starting, I'm going to say here in chat. Starting here. 1 is Jail. 2 is Animated Chad. 3 is Chaos/Fire. Start voting again. Start voting again. All of you can re-vote. 3 for Chaos, 2 for Chad, 1 for Jail. If the entire end of the emote lights up at the end, you'll be missed. And listen, if I get that at some point, I'll probably get it from Ash so that it matches the crime brulee. Threes, twos. Okay. Okay. Go to jail is out. Ones. Here, I'm going to say here again. Squash with the fucking 7. Here. Ones is animated Chad. Twos is chaos and fire. Ones is Chad. Twos is chaos and fire. Twos, twos, twos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's no 3, Maki. There's no 3. You fucking dork. Carnival roll call. 7, you can't stop me. Hi, Lucian. No, we're voting on emotes. So 1 is animated chat emote, 2 is chaos and fire. 7 and 5/8. Shut up. You fucking dork. They're gonna go numbers. This is why polls are better. You can't troll a poll. No, they're doing fine. Polls are sometimes hard to use and they take a lot longer, and I'm enjoying this rapid fire like scale down method more. Okay, so let me go back up to the here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 7 to 1, 8 to 1, 9 to 1, 10 to 1, 11 to 1, 11 to 2, 12 to 2. Lucian voted twice, so I'm not counting that one. And then 13 to 2 in favor of Chaos and Fire. All right, Chaos and Fire is the winner. Let me also give you all those words on stream really quick. Also, let me do a thing, because... yeah, we'll do that. Oh, whoops. There we go. There we go. Okay. My actual vote is 1. It's okay. So the one we're getting is going to be the Chaos and Fire. So I will have to get a Chaos and Fire. And I'm probably actually going to get that from Ash down the road. Unfortunately, though, Ash's animated emotes, I believe starting cost is $100. So we will see. We'll see how long that takes. That'll be something that'll probably be like a month where it's literally the only art I get out of that month. But at least we have our things selected. That works out. So the other things we have left on the list are... oh, I'm getting another phone call. I'm not going to answer it. I'm not going to answer it. It's probably nothing. Okay. Okay. Ults. Wow, that was fast. Jesus. All right. Well done. Well done, you guys. Spam calls at the carnival. They always call me when I'm working. Always call me when I'm working. We must choose a different pope. Amazing. No, it was the local phone number, local area code. It's not the Vatican. I wonder what the Vatican... now I'm curious. Hold on. Vatican City phone code. 379 is the phone code for Vatican City. But the code is not used. Instead, the Vatican uses the country code 39 of Italy and assigns phone numbers starting with 698 within the regional code of 06 for Rome. Huh? Telephone numbers in the Vatican City start with 06. Okay, so it starts 06, 698, and then 5 more digits. The telecommunications provider of Vatican City is the Vatican Telephone Service, part of the government's Department of Telecommunications since 2002. Interesting. Interesting. I'm pretty sure the Vatican also technically only has a maximum population of 100 at any given time, right? Something like that. Oh, hey, hold on. They left a voicemail. Let me go listen to that. Okay. Okay, that's my pharmacy. I can't currently afford my my monthly medication, so that's the warning call to what was it? That they're going to return my medication to the shelf in a couple days. $90 is expensive for medicine when I don't know if fucking payday is going to be Thursday or next Thursday. It's fine. It's fine. I have a substitute. I have old pills. They're not like expired in terms of old. They're like from August. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Why are you licking me? Why are you licking me, Pink? All right. Do we want to do, what is it? We're at the 3-hour mark. Okay, I don't think we're gonna do the 1 hour AMA today. Yeah, they're on Throne. They should be on Throne. I'm pretty sure I added them back after last month. Throne! It should be the Brain Helpies one. I love it. I love it. Okay, yeah, just there. Monthly meds are there. The thing is while y'all have donated a lot, I also don't want to touch that just for like my like monthly meds, since it was given to go to the house fund. All right. Gonna be RB and Lurky. Have a great rest of your day. Well, thank you. Yeah, we'll probably save the 1 hour AMA for Thursday. Want to do the 1 hour AMA Thursday? How can you new house if no meds? I mean, they're not like, it's not deadly if I don't. Okay. I literally still had Throne open and I just watched it disappear off the wish list. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let me just withdraw balance. Okay. Now you have backup meds? No, that's the primary medicine. I have old pills for the medicine I took before I got this medicine. Similar medicines. The one I currently take that's $90 a month, though, is far more effective. Is this legal crack or titty skittles? Titty skittles. This is not legal crack. I'm not medicated, nor am I diagnosed for things like ADHD or anything. No, all of my medicine is technically like, what's the word? Not. I'm not like any of some of my other friends that have like digestive problems that like if they don't have the medicine, their stomach explodes. Sunstar, you could wait a second. I was about to say you can get them where you are. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I remembered where you live. Never mind. Never mind. Sorry, boss. Oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, dork. All right. How many golds does $100 hit? From where we are right now, we're past the 500. So let me actually see. I have Ko-fi open. We're at 28% of 2,000, which is, let me think. 5% is 500. I think we're a good distance away. Let me, I'm lazy, so we're going to pull out the calculator. No, wait, I did that wrong. Clear. Times. We're at about 560. We're at about 560. Real quick, the next goal, we'd have to hit about 38% for the next goal to hit the Hello Kitty Island adventure. Don't worry though, guys, though we're going to be running these incentives as long as it takes. If we don't hit them soon, I will start adding additional incentives. In the case, I say soon, but I mean like multiple days. Multiple days. Like next week. Like if we get to Monday next week and we aren't, say, like down to just like the 24-hour showtime, then I will add more incentives. I will start putting in more incentives between wherever we are at the time till the final goal. Leave your mods without their dose of Bear and Hello Kitty. Listen, we need to get back to our puffball sheep on what is it? Oh, good lord. All right. I'd give, but I kind of tap myself out during the plane ticket. I totally understand, physicist. I do have that money set aside. That's another like chunk that I don't want to touch. That was given for a singular purpose and I don't want to touch it. I need so many mare and sheep arts. Listen, we talked about like, that's like, I'm an opinionated person, okay? So somebody's like, I'm going to draw you as a furry. And I'm like, all right, if you do that, you better get loved on Nerd. This model is adorable and scary. Hell yeah. Hi, Jay. Mare and Ghost Sheep. I need so many mare and sheep arts. Somebody was like, if you're a persona, like, I'm going to draw you as a furry and they're like a cat or something. And I was like, nah, I'm a sheep. I'm a sheep. Or a goat. Kind of a woolly goat. Like a goat or a sheep, but I'm like one of those like scary, like kind of satanic looking sheep. Yeah, that's the stuff. Yeah. Ember, you... Okay, Lord. Ember, have you seen the Goofy Witch comic that's going around? This feels like something that you would have seen. It's a comic of like a person who's like, they draw a witch who's like having a miserable time with her powers because people just keep coming to her wishing to have their like wives and girlfriends cursed and turned into like furry monsters. Yeah, the furry witch. Is Nico McGoat? I do know Nico. King Meowinitis, welcome in. Oh my god, did we just get furry version of King Leonidas? Baron Goat Rounds? Massive round goat eyes? Yes. Yes, exactly. I actually was considering for the summer outfit getting like octopus eyes. Just having like a toggle for octopus eyes. That'd be fine with me. That would be a-okay with me. My body is a machine that converts the left card into the right card. That's amazing. I like the Balatro memes. Wait, what was that? Did I miss an alert? I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Also dip in the horror wives. I saw that artist also dip in yeah, there was... Oh, I don't know who the artist is. I don't know the artist off the top of my head. I just keep seeing them in like different places. I've seen them on Pinterest. I've seen them sometimes like reposted on Twitter. Soap infused sponge. Why? You get like 2 uses out of that sponge. Huh? Capitalism was a mistake. A thing in an office space with floating goat / octopus eyes? Yeah. Yeah, baby. What's wrong with that? Oh. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. I just found a killer outfit. Chat, I don't know if I think this is the Met Gala. I don't know for sure, but I don't know if any of y'all saw this. Real quick. Look at her. Look at her. Amazing. Amazing. The perfect mix. Absolutely nailed it. I dig it. I respect it. Is she? Really? Multiple eye contests? Listen, it's fine. But no, I saw it. I had to quote tweet it. I'm sorry. I had to. Now, if you excuse me, I need to now go send this to Faye. Okay. Is that merry-go-round from Fortnite? Code merry-go-rounds? Epic Games code, creator code for Epic Games. If you too are a gamer and play Fortnite, you can actually use it for any Epic Games, and it counts. It counts. We get a little bit of a kickback. I found them? What do you mean you found them? Bonnie Mama. I epic all my games. La Epic Gamer. La Epic Gamer, my friends. All right. All right, guys. I think we're good right now. I think we can put this away. Or... Oh, shit. Wait, I closed it. Hold on. I closed it. I closed it earlier. I was sitting here, I was like, do I have this tab open? I'm pretty sure I have this tab open. Where's my tab? There is no tab. The tab has been closed. The tab is closed. So let me go ahead and do... Bonnie's the creature of the witch's curse. Huh? Huh? Feeding the papal conclave. Food for the conclave. Ooh. All right, real quick. I was going to ask if y'all wanted to see the new GTA 6 trailer. Yeah, 6 hours ago. Found himself alone. All right. Chat, do we want to see the GTA 6? Oh, I did turn on words. That's my bad. I clicked the wrong thing. But no, I was going to ask, do y'all want to see this? Face look like... Oh, I didn't hit play. Why did that start playing? Also, hold on. The full screen's kind of busted. Okay, there we go. That's better. I can see the top of my head through the upper part of the full screen. So it doesn't steal Game of the Year from Claire Obscure. I don't think it's going to be that great. I'm going to be honest. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good, and I'm glad Rockstar is taking the time to actually put in the work. Like, that's fucking awesome. All right. Let me go ahead and swap this over. I need to just change the audio so that y'all will have it in the VOD. And Theft Auto. And Knuckles. And Knuckles. All right, this is where we transition over to our normal, regularly scheduled program, if you will, 3 hours later. It's totally fine, totally fine. Where I entirely distract us towards the end of the stream. Fuck Rockstar, they wanted this to be $100 before Shitendo did anything? Yeah. Yeah. Bites, says it through teeth. Thing is, I don't even know if I'm going to end up buying this game. I would have to have this game given to me. If it's $70 or more, that's going to be a hard no for me, Chief. That's going to be a hard no for me. All right. Let's cease the music, even though I love this Nickelback song. And let's see what this trailer's about, because I keep seeing people like fawn over it. So I honestly don't know how...
What you doing?
Shit, it looks good.
I'm just fixing some leaks.
Seriously, dude, you got some time.
Oh, hold on, I gotta change some things here.
Properties with paying tenants.
Oh, that's why you came by?
Just go get me my checks.
See you, Brian. Love you, Jason.
Okay, that's a little bit better. Hi, Jason. Shit, what the fuck? Hit it. Hit it. Oh my god, that is, hold on, that is natty light as fuck. All right,
I'm
what
here for
city
Los
is this one
Caminos.
supposed to be in? Does anybody
Supposed to be
know?
good now.
What's your name?
Jason Duval.
I seen you here before.
He might have.
Aw. She looks good.
Hey,
Holy shit.
Hey.
When I remember whenever I played this game, it was very hard to make an attractive looking character.
Above your head, now!
you stay.
Oh. Oh.
The new beginnings.
Wait, hold on. Was that Modelo? Was that straight up Modelo? Okay, no, it's not. It's a fake Modelo. I feel like this is
Trust me, this place is just the start for us.
Miami.
The only thing that matters is who you know and what you got.
My God.
Gonna do this? We're doing it right.
Hold on. There was.
Yo, D, this full effect?
Did they redo the entire like fabric generation?
Everything.
The fabric engine?
Us cops, we gotta protect each other.
Graphics incompatibility or some shit?
You and me, Lou. We got this.
We got it.
I don't know. I had to look up guides when I played GTA Online to make my character actually look attractive. And it was a 45-minute video on how to make your character look good.
Come to Fields Ammunition today. We got more guns than
Ammo Nation is back, baby. All right, it's not GTA until I get my Conspiracy Theory Classic Rock channel. I need my Conspiracy Theory Classic Rock channel talking about how the CEOs are vampires and shit. This screen's game may look different than actual game. I think these are cutscenes. These look like they may be cutscenes. This can run on most consoles smoothly. Oh, I bet it's not going to look nearly as good as this on consoles. Captured on PS5. Wait a minute. Did y'all see that? Captured on PS5. The music choice is immaculate. I agree, but hold on. Let me find the thing that sold me on it. That made me go, wow, it's...
The only thing that matters is who you know and
It's this woman with the short hair. Look at her fucking dress. Skin tight with pooch. With whole pooch.
and what you got.
Here. Look at it in motion. The split seconds we get, it looks so good.
Gonna do this? We're doing it right.
Yo, D, this full effect?
Also, hold on. Look at this big dude.
Yo, D, this full effect?
Look at the fucking details. Holy shit. The first game on PS5. PS5 has no games. But let's see how you could break the game over trailers. I don't want your perfect garbage. It happens. No, but look at these guys. Look at the details on these guys. Creases on his like brow. And it's not even like just a solid brow. It's like formed in there. The beard having like, I forget what this little more flat part is, but there's definitely like still hair there. And then it comes into the curls. Cryptid, welcome in. TD, how was your stream? Welcome in, Raiders. I can't believe my Marin 64 has no original games. Hey, listen, it's kind of hard to make a specialized console and then sell it to big name companies to sell their games on. Is mad I'm watching this stream. That makes sense. Welcome in, TD. How was your stream? Did you have a good time? Welcome in, Raiders. We're currently on the tail end of my debut. We're currently vibing and chilling. Welcome in, though. I hope you had a good time. On your lovely, lovely debut. You look amazing. Thank you. I had a good time. It was really fun. We just vibed. We had a good time. We're raising money for our house fund, our moving house fund. Beelzepop, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Yes, I know the alert covers my face. All right. The Sisted? Is that what that says? I think that's what it says. The Sisted, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. We were just looking at the GTA trailer and I was looking at the details. I just like the way they did this. Also, I was looking at like his body, how like cut he is. They even gave him veins. They put veins on the dudes. Thank you, Murdoch. Ordain, where are you running? Where are you running, Ordain? This is coming out of PS4, right? No, it's PS5. This is PS5. Here it is. PS5, Xbox Series X and S. Ooh, wait. Is there no PC release? Are they not releasing it on PC on this launch day? Are they? Hello? Hello? They know that's a mistake, right? PC launch 2030? God damn it. God damn it. Yeah, are they doing the same thing they did with 5 and they're not going to like release the fucking PC one until months or a year later? That's so stupid. That's so stupid. They should have learned with GTA 5 that releasing it on PC day one is a better way to make your launch look good and to function usually a little bit better, especially if they're putting in another year of effort to produce it. They can get time to stabilize a PC build. I mean, plus even now, PS5s and the Xbox S and S series are pretty much just PCs with a different operating system. So I don't know why they're doing it the way that they are. But okay. They're outright dumb. Thanks, Rockstar. Thanks. Come on, XX, they're brainless anyway. I don't think it's maybe the XX decision to have it on console only, but I feel like it's somebody lower down than executives. Sorry, I'm scratching my eye. Yum, 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 yum. Okay. Are you fucking slow, bud? Sorry, I had to. They'll pay discounting. They said we don't have plans to release it because they won't pay us full. What? Are they mad because if they like try to sell it on Steam, they have to give, what is it? It's like 30% to Steam. Is that what it is? If they put it on like Steam or other platforms, they usually take a cut, and Rockstar is so pissed baby that they don't want to fucking share their cut of money. Does the Florida Joker still want to sue Florida Joker? I wonder if Sony and Microsoft are paying them to make it console. No, they don't. Typically, when it comes to producing games for the console, the companies have to pay the console companies to put it on their platforms. They have to buy dev kits that they then bring back to their studios, and that's what they use to make the games on, typically. You don't give your money to the corpse and give it to the local ringleader? True. Give me your console money so I can buy a Switch 2 and play it on stream. I would like a Switch 2. I have been good. I deserve a Switch 2. Switch 2s are so fucking expensive. $450, dude. Christ almighty. Listen, the only game I want right now that could possibly only come out on Switch 2 is the new Kirby Air Ride. Because, oh my God, I could kiss whoever decided they were going to make that. Thank fucking God. What was it? The new Pokemon game, that's it. But that's also coming out on Switch 1, so I'm not super concerned. Speaking of Kirby Air Ride, we're gonna go Air Riders. Yeah, gimme. I'm sorry, chat. Meatless, thank you for the $100 donation. Wait a second. That's the next goal. That's 38%. That's the next goal. All right. I guess we're doing Hello Kitty next week. What day are we going to do Hello Kitty next week? Tuesday? Hello Kitty Island Adventure on Tuesday? Yeah, 38% is the 750. It's more like 37.5%, but that's hard to calculate when you only have 2 digits. So 38% we know is the 750 mark. So we're playing Hello Kitty next week. Sick. For free like they did with Bloodborne. That'll take a long ass time though. And they likely won't be able to keep up with updates. Oh my god, I remember seeing this on the direct. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Oh no. Oh no, it's Kirby. Oh, we're getting a new Kirby game. Oh wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. Oh, you don't see video? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I am overly energized. I'm easily distracted and not used to my own interface, so I don't notice things when things aren't working properly. And Parents New Streamer, it's fine. Yeah, it's my first debut. Don't you know? Maybe 2.0, but this is my very first debut. Kirby on a Star. Oh boy, a new Kirby game. It's gonna be 3D. That sounds great. Sorry, that was me. That was me whenever I was watching this trailer the first time. Oh, cool. Probably gonna like land on a new map or just something like that. The air ride booster. Just swallow my own uvula in shock. Just. Fuck yeah, air ride. Give me the noodle cart. Give me the noodle cart. Let's go wheelie. Let's go wheelie. Oh my god, the bird. Where's my bat star? I need my bat star. I'm gonna barf. I'm so excited. Chat, you don't understand. You don't understand. In the year of 2025, it comes out this year. It comes out this year. Chat, we're about to become competitive Kirby Air Riders players. You've heard of the competitive Mario Kart? Oh, buckle up, Buttercup. Buckle up, Buttercup. It's time. It's still from the Smack Until It Works School of Maintenance. That's Kirby in a nutshell. Give me the Hydra. Hell yeah. All Carnival Lounge stuff with Kirby. I'm not going to replace it with merch. I'm not like a Kirby merch aficionado. What do you take me for? It would come out with the Switch too? Fuck. Ami! How was V Rising? Did y'all have a good time? Did y'all have a good stream? What trouble did you get into? What bosses did you do? Did Faye scream at anything? Wouldn't doubt it comes out in Q4. Oh, it's almost certainly going to come out for the holidays. I can almost guarantee you it's going to come out for the holidays. But welcome in, Raiders. How are you doing? Did you have a good stream? Did you have a good time? What trouble did you get into? What shenanigans were you up to? How was V Rising? Did you have a good time? I'm totally not going to play V Rising all night tonight because I enjoy building my giant castle. There was killing of Lydia in the daylight. Lydia, the Chaos Archer? Is that what that was? Is Lydia's the Chaos Archer, isn't she? I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. There we go. Hell yeah, I'm glad y'all enjoyed the game. Welcome in though. Yeah, okay, it was the Chaos Archer. I couldn't remember if it was the Chaos Archer or the Frost Archer. That was Lydia. It was one of those. It was one of those. I hate the animation thing that sites do as you scroll. It doesn't work with scroll wheel. What kind of animation? Like some of those websites that are like over-designed to have like animations and stuff move in while you're scrolling down. Ooh, but I hope y'all had a good time. I hope you had an extra dandy time. Faye, we already hit the 750 goal. We already hit the 750 goal. We've selected both emotes, the animated and static emotes. We're going to chat once. So I'll be getting those sometime in the near future because I still owe y'all from the last one. And I promise I have those marked. I'm probably going to try to get all 4 of those as soon as I can. More than likely next month, because I don't think that this month's payout is not going to be much. I'll probably only be able to pay my bills again. But next month, looking at that weekly passes up there, it looks like we'll probably be doing pretty decent. I should have some extra money. Yeppers, yep, yes. Okay, I was right. That was the right one. But yeah, we're doing good. We're raising the shmoney. We're raising the shmoney. All right. But let me see. I don't think I have much of anything else to go over today. there anything I'm forgetting? Do we want to see the stinger again? Do we want to show off the stinger in the new starting soon stream? Just for folks that weren't here at the beginning? Yeah, it's V-Bridger. It's great. It's fantastic. I usually make a lot of like facial expressions when I'm talking on stream, but my other models don't capture it as well. Also, I can actually frown in this one. I can pout. The other models were kind of like, 1.0 was a little stuck in like, with like a little smirk. I'm folks who weren't here at the beginning. All right. We'll swap over to the animated screen. There's the stinger with little show, and there's the starting soon screen. Yeah. I'm hardly here now. How could you, Demon? How could you? I have to be here? That is correct. Mods are obligated to be here. I do want to, at some point, I think I'm going to go talk to the person who animated this for me and get some layers separated. I'm going to make it sound reactive. I'm going to make it specifically music reactive to whatever music we're playing. I have a pretty strong idea of how I'm going to do it. And I know I can do it with filters in Discord. I love that stinger. Oh God, I'm lagging. No. GPU. Hello? Come on. Come on. All right, we're good. We're good. I think when the GPU gets under load, it decides that VTube Studio is what needs to take the hit first. The future audio. This is the ringleader from 6 seconds in the future. Get your Marin Edition GPU to render Marins with no lag. Listen, if I ever got big enough at some point, like even like with Ironside Games, not Ironside Games, Ironside Computers, the ones who made the pre-built that I have, the Model O. Call me. I want a partner. You don't even have to give me anything. I just like your shit and you have a good warranty policy and your PCs look cool. Because I know when they partner with some people, they've given some like other bigger streamers like PCs. I'm like, I'm fine not getting a PC. I'm fine not getting a PC. But if I did, I would use it as a secondary PC and we'd probably eliminate like a lot of the lag with these models. But, is it just me or did the booba get shinier? Shinier? I don't think so. Is it because, maybe it just looks like it because I don't have my jacket on? Wrong button. Ah, yes. Yes. You're not allowed to know that I have a spare jacket. You're next on the list, Ironside. That's what I said before. I was like, I got this just this year alone. We've already got GamerSteps and Uwu Market. And we also have some stuff from a Schmalcohol brand that want me to sample their stuff and see what it's like. And we'll probably do that on stream. If we hit the drinking stream, I may actually save it for that drinking stream. Which could be fun. If Chad was cold, would you lend them your jacket? Sure. This jacket isn't crazy warm. I mean, it's a straight up decorative leather jacket with the sleeves pulled all the way up. You'd have to like, you say like unbutton it down there. Undo those buttons. The most important movie of the 21st century. It's Speed Racer. Parentheses. We're not joking. I kind of want to watch that video. I kind of want to see that video. That Speed Racer movie, that fucking, what was it? 2008? Something like that. That live action Speed Racer movie, I'm not lying, is really good. Is really good. I love that movie. It's a pretty radical movie. It is very radical. Can't be cold when on fire. Don't go setting random people on fire. Carnival? Crap. What booze starts with the C? Curacao? It's done by the Wachowskis? That explains it. That explains it. But it is a very good. But yeah, it's a crazy good movie. If none of y'all have seen it, And if y'all haven't actually, let me get you a Speed Racer, but the top. That's what we want. Shut up. Shut up. Oh no, it's trying to play an ad. All right, if you guys, I'm not gonna play this on stream. If y'all haven't seen Speed Racer or you want to know what it's like, go listen to that video. Go listen to that video where it's one of the main songs, like climax of the movie, is replaced with Eurobeat. And it is awesome. I'm setting the one on fire. The one. I remember it flopping at the time, but it's pretty neat. It did kind of flop. That's because it was advertised very much as a kid's movie. I watched it in theaters as a kid. I don't remember. Hold on. What year did Speed Racer movie release? 2008. I was right. Wow. That was just a guess earlier. May 9th, 2008. Oh, it's 3 days from its anniversary. Chat. Hi, Hora. Chat. Are we watching the Speed Racer movie? What is that, Friday? Am I doing anything Friday nights? I don't think I'm doing anything Friday nights. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are we gonna watch a Speed Racer movie on Friday nights? No, I'm watching Merry-Go-Round. We'll be here around noon on Friday. Actually, no, we're not. We're gonna be at Hectic's. We're gonna be at Hectic's playing Wizards. Playing Mage. Movie night in the Discord. Movie night in the Discord, baby. Hi, Hora. I must do the thing. Must do the thing. Aha, I got you, dwarf. I got you. You came out of your mountain home. How are you doing, Hora? What's today? Tuesday. How's your Tuesday? What trouble did you get into? How was your work day? I live? That's relatable. Just to hit it with a, oh yeah, relatable. Copacetic. Have you considered watching Speed Racer about it? Good afternoon. Hi, Diablo. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Your model looks amazing. Thank you. All right. I watched the anime when it came out. Talking about the Speed Racer anime? Yo, fishing emotes? Dang, I can't believe I forgot to mention we should get a fishing emote to see if y'all would want that one as the static emote. Damn it, that didn't cross my mind at the time. Hold on, add that to the chart. Fishing. Save. Add that to the notepad. Yeah, we'll get a fish emote. We will get a fish emote eventually. Animated fish emote? How would an animated fish emote work? How to go about an animated fish emote. I must fish for first. Now, the fishing game is not open. I did not open any of the other stream games today. We'll have them back tomorrow. We'll also have all the alerts back tomorrow, as well as Tits. Tits will be back up. Ordain. Fish! Fish! It's fine. It'll be fine. It'll be dandy. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, guys. But, I think this is where we're going to call it, guys. I think we are good for the day. We are going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be playing Expedition 33. And I need to find somebody to raid. Who shall we raid? For those of you who are new, since we have so many new people here, and just in case you don't know the new schedule, in case you're an old person who came back for the new model, we typically stream now Monday through Thursday, noon CDT. So if you want to catch any of us during that time, that always works. Let's see, is anybody doing anything spooky? Yomi's doing Cyberpunk again, and I'm guessing Yomi's doing her, what's her name? Rebecca run. Tommy is yapping. Let's see if I can find somebody else in my scrolling instead of going with my usual, like, recommended list. No, we're not going with Jufa. Sleeping, sleeping, sleeping. Why are there so many people just sleeping? Okay, that's kind of crazy. Meabyte. I could have sworn Meabyte had a different design. But that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, there's not really anybody that's jumping out at me today. We may actually go with Yomi just because she's playing Cyberpunk. Hectic! Hectic! I can't believe the new Ringleaders interview is already over. Got all the notes. Did you remember to take your notes class? There's going to be a pop quiz tomorrow. Make sure to review the VOD. You're going to have to review the VOD or you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. Actually, I found somebody playing an interesting game. We could go raid my friend Kraka. She's currently playing South of Midnight. Fuck that quiz. Ordain, you can't run from the quiz. The quiz will find you all the same. So, guys, Kraka is currently playing South of Midnight. If you don't know, this is a Cajun country-esque RPG. It is kind of spooky themed. It looks very cool. It's a bit of a, what's the word? Almost like a hack and slash Souls-like. I would consider it more of like a hack and slash. But we are going to use the new Crime Brulee emotes. And we're going to do It's Time for Crime. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be playing some games tomorrow. Until next time, though, thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. And thank you guys for enjoying the show. Unfortunately, we don't have a new end screen, which is kind of unfortunate, mainly because the person I was going to get to do it, I am still buried deep within their wait list. So we still have the old end screen. Goodbye.